Chapter 141 Space Spirit. The king of the king completely opened his soul, and Yi Yuan's hands were smashed, and the power of a trace of soul penetrated into the soul of the king. Whether for the beast or the human warrior, the soul is the most mysterious and most vulnerable place. The king of the king only felt that the spirit was trembled, and the whole person felt like a collapse. Yu Wang knows that he has entered into a soul contract with Yi Yuan, and he will be Yi Yuan for a decade. At this time, the king of the king did not have the original pride, and reverently screamed, "Hey, fly to see the master." Yi Far nodded and said, "Is it your name, Fei Fei?" "Well, since you are mainly based on me, I have to tell you something about it." The owner please say, "You have the pride of being a king, and I will not control your words and deeds at will. So, in most cases, you are free. If you are really based on me, I can even use the soul. In that case, you are almost completely free. However, if I find that you are guilty of yin, even if only once, I will not hesitate to use the soul contract, understand?" Yuan Fei understands. The master is relieved, since Fei Fei chose to follow the owner, naturally will not move. Fei Fei respectfully said, "The way the soul contract is actually quite modest, mainly depends on the content of the contract signed by both parties. Because the soul contract between Yan Fei and Yi Yuan is unequal, so Fei Fei must be Yi Yuan as the master. Even so, in addition to being bound by the contract, Fei Fei must do things for Yi Yuan. In fact, there is no difference in peacetime. In order to control others, you can also force people to plant slavery. Any one of the enslaved parties can't escape the master's eyes. It is a true slave, not a master-servant relationship. There are even more powerful methods that can directly annihilate the self-consciousness of the person being treated and let him fully submit to the master. As long as the owner does not actively touch the technique, the person being treated is always a walking dead. It is because the soul contract is very gentle in this way, and Fei Fei will promise Yi Yuan. Otherwise, he did not promise Yi Yuan, but killed him directly. I have to say that Yi Yuan's words dispelled the last trace of concern. Yi Yuan means that they are equal, but when Yi Yuan needs it, he must help Yi Yuan unconditionally. It is better to say that it is a full-time bodyguard than a master-servant relationship. Moreover, Fei Fei has signed a soul contract with Yi Yuan, and there is also a hint of inspiration between the two. Fei Fei can feel that Yi Yuan is really invisible to his servant. The kind that doesn't look down is not a look down, but a feeling that can't be said. In short, this master is very mysterious. Well, don't call the master's master, just call me the young master. Yi Yuan said. Yes, young master. From the beginning, the popular mouth has been open, she has been surprised to close her mouth. A third-order monster, so I was conquered by Yi Yuan. This is a third-order monster, not a cat or a dog. The third-order monster, in the boundless forest, is absolutely the existence of the king, so it became the servant of Yi Yuan. She just thought that Yi Yuan had some suspicions of bragging, but now that she saw the attitude of the king, she knew her ignorance. Have you really conquered him? The wind is still not very confident, I want to confirm it from Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan smiled and said, "Do you have any suspicions when you look at him?" "Well, there are cockroaches flying around, go back and scream at Su Yubai, hee. The wind was completely defeated by Yi Yuan. At the beginning, it was still a bit like the one. The last sentence was the original form. This guy is a good thing. But he is the king. How did you convince him? The wind couldn't help but ask. People are all weak. As long as they catch his life, he can naturally use it for me. What do you think is the most desired for the king? Yi Yuan said with a smile. If you are fascinated by the wind, you will be too sure to say, break the fourth order. Hey, I don't think there is anything more tempting than this. Smart. You fly like you, if you can't break through the spiritual environment, it is more uncomfortable than killing you. This kind of mood, you should be able to understand. Yi Yuan laughed. Yeah, you actually took me and the monster. The wind first nodded, but soon realized that it was not right, suddenly angered. Haha, I don't mean that. Why are you always so sensitive? Don't do it, I have a third-order bodyguard now. You can't beat me. Hey, what if you have a fourth-order bodyguard? You can't make it right. The wind did not care at all. She did not believe that Yi Yuan really dared to let the king to beat her. Oh, I am wrong, Grandma. This is almost the same. After a while, a problem was placed in front of Yi Yuan. What should I do with this mountain full of stone? Fei Fei walked with him, and the mountains through arm sarcophagus lost its dependence. In the infinite forest, the third-order monster can not only fly ahead. If he is gone, these unarmed dragons will have no heads, and sooner or later they will be annexed by other forces. The world of the beast is sometimes more cruel than human beings. Other races cannot tolerate the stone of the arm and continue to occupy the mountain as the king. The final end can only be a ruin. Hey, what about these people? If you leave, they will probably be annexed by other powerful races. Yi Yuan asked. It's not that Yi Yuan doesn't want to take them away, but this one is too much. If he took it all away, how to place it? These arms are taken out and can almost destroy a secular state. Such a huge force is not safe. If found by someone who has the heart, these arms can be more dangerous than in the infinite forest. Fei Fei is so powerful that it is just a person. And if some of the big gates are strong, they are much stronger than Fei Fei. When Yan Fei saw Yi Yuan take the initiative to mention his people, his heart was also moved. Change to be a good person, get such a powerful helper, where will the life of the flying people? The young master is relieved. I have a very powerful space weapon on my body, enough to hold me and my people. As he said, Fei Fei's palm turned, and a small miniature palace was suspended in his palm. Yi Yuan's eyes lit up and smiled. It turned out to be a space liberation of 128, and this thing is extremely rare in the absence of borders. It seems that you are really blessed with you. No wonder you are so many people. Only you can wake up to inherit the memory and break through to the third order. Yan Fei smiled and said, if the young master can help me break through to the fourth order, you are the biggest blessing for me. Yi Yuan haha smiled. Do not worry, I will not let you down. Chapter 142 Serial Assassination. 128 Banned spirits are almost the limit of the spirit. If the ban is imposed, it will be difficult for the spirit to withstand the oppression of the ban, and the end result is that the spirit is destroyed. Moreover, the space spirit is extremely rare, and the 128-gauge space spirit is even more cherished. If this spirit is known to the outside world, it will definitely set off a storm. Yi Yuan did not expect that there was such a weapon in the flying hand. Hey, what is your spirit? Yi Yuan asked curiously. When I was at the peak of the second stage, although I was awakened to pass the memory, I could not find the opportunity to break through. So I took a heart and went alone into the depths of the infinite forest to find the opportunity to break through. Who knows that I later hit it wrong? I accidentally bumped into a human cave house. This piece of spirit was obtained in the cave house. Fei Fei did not hide it, and said to Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan was surprised to say, human Dongfu. Infinite forest is not the world of monsters. How can there be a human cave? Fei Fei shook his head and said, I don't know about this, but I just got this weapon at the outermost part of the cave. The prohibition inside is too strong. I didn't dare to go deep. I got a few in Dongfu. Demon Ling Dan and this space spirit quietly quit. Then I took the Demon Ling Dan, and then successfully broke through to the third order. Oh, inside the cave house of the human warrior, there is such a thing as a demon spirit. It seems that you are really a big man, and you will not be low in the future. Yi Yuan said with emotion. Judging from the narrative of Fei Fei, his luck is so good. At that time, Fei Fei only had a second-order peak, and it was no different from finding a dead forest. However, he not only did not die, but inexplicably got the opportunity to break through and successfully broke through to the third order. Now, Fei Fei has encountered Yi Yuan again, which can't be described as luck. Follow Yi Yuan. As long as you can't fly, you can't limit your achievements in the future. As Fei Fei said, encountering Yi Yuan is his greatest creation. Thank you, Master. Fei Fei respectfully said. Yi Yuan nodded. So it seems that this human cave house should be a very strong palace. This infinite forest is really a fun place. If you fly, Yi Yuan will have a deep curiosity about the Dongfu. When the future is strong, he must go to the Dongfu to have a look. Well, it's not too late. You can quickly pick up the cockroaches and collect the people into the space. Let me go with you. Usually you will stay with the people in the space and practice. When you need it, I will naturally call you, Yi Yuan said. Yes, young master. Yu Fei took the lead and began to work on the feat of family migration. This chifengling is also a feng shui treasure. In addition to the red soul grass, there are many precious herbs. For these things, Yi Yuan will naturally not waste, letting people all pack up and send them into the space. Of course, for Yi Yuan, the most precious thing is the red soul grass. Yi Yuan asked for a flight of 3 or 4, and the others allowed him to take in the space. Everything was properly packed, and Fei Fei and the tribes all entered the space, and then the space was reduced to a small bean-sized bead, which was carried by Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan and the wind rushed down the ridge, the original bustling Chifeng Ridge, but it was silent. However, this situation will not last for a long time. The most indispensable part of the infinite forest is the monster, which will soon be occupied by other monsters. Of course, there is no shortage of killing, but that has nothing to do with Yi Yuan. He came to Chifengling this time and can be said to be full of rewards. Not only got the red soul grass, but also conquered a third-order monster. The wind has now felt like a dream, and the experience of this day and night is too bizarre. Yi Yuan, I am not dreaming. We really conquered a third-order monster. You can lick yourself. If you hurt, you are not dreaming. Hey, I want you to blame yourself. What are you doing for me? You actually feel so painful. It seems that you are really not dreaming. However, I still feel that it is not true. Yi Yuan, if you release the king of them, can you directly destroy Qin? Yi Yuan reluctantly said, don't be stupid. You can't see the light, only the key time is useful. You think about a third-order monster in the human field, what will be the consequences? And, they fly in space in the spirit, if the space is exposed, let alone me, that is, Qin will also suffer from the catastrophe. So, we must keep our mouths after we go back, understand? The wind is a big temper. She just thinks that there is a third-order monster when it is very beautiful, but I really didn't expect the consequences to be so serious. Isn't it? I just thought about taking the hustle and flying out to the scenery. They can't even show up in the face. The wind blew for a while. Ye farsighted. The board began to face. Sister, this thing must be done after going back, otherwise the consequences are not you and I can afford. Okay, I know. I won't even say my aunt, you can rest assured. It's just that the temper is rather inferior, but it's not a fool. Yi Yuan has already said this level, she naturally knows the weight. Especially the space spirit, it is a time bomb. The two talked while walking, and soon went down the mountain. The red soul grass has already arrived, the next step is the pine fruit. The place where the pine fruit grows is called the Gray Pine Forest. It is not a very dangerous place. It is the territory of a second-order monster. Now there is a flying fly, picking up the pine fruit is the hand to come. During the walk, the two came to a dense forest. The killing machine flashed without warning. An arrow passes through the layers of woods and shoots at the speed of Yi Yuan at a very fast speed. The distance of this arrow is not too close, which makes Yi Yuan unable to detect it in advance, and does not give him the slightest reaction time. However, Yi Yuan still reacted. His induction of the air machine is not comparable to the general situation. Essence of the darkness was unfolded and spread out to the side, avoiding this arrow with danger. When Yi Yuanzheng intends to summon Qi Fei, the police will regenerate. A figure appeared in the grass next to him, facing the direction in which he jumped. In other words, Yi Yuan's dodge, but just hit the next wave of assassination. Knife Mons flashed, a powerful breath rushed to the surface, that is the full force of the 5 spirits. At this moment, Yi Yuan also took the job. It's just that his palm is not going to the assassin, but going to the ground. Stacks of waves and waves of the palms. Boom. The soil splashed, and the shape of Yi Yuan changed his direction, and he avoided the knife again. Hey, this knife still broke the arm of Yi Yuan. However, this is not over yet. The third attack once again came to Yi Yuan. This is a serial assassination that is accurate to a few points. The other party will calculate all the reactions of Yi Yuan, all calculated. Yi Yuan, at stake. Chapter 143 Nine Swords Finish. This assassination is closely linked, and almost every reaction of Yi Yuan is counted. Just now, Yi Yuan was able to avoid the second strike by the power of the 8 waves. But now Yi Yuan is in the air, the third hit is seamlessly docked up, and does not give Yi Yuan a breather. The timing is accurate and the clever combination is almost seamless. More importantly, the strength of these 3 people is extremely strong, and they are all more than 5 spirits. The 3 warriors who have more than 5 spirits, and so murdered in such a subtle way, are simply the unsuccessful killing. Ah, Yi Yuan. The wind smashed in the first time, and it was necessary to help Yi Yuan in the past. But at this moment, another figure flashed out and plunged directly into the wind. Your opponent is me. A blue figure attacked the wind at a very fast speed. Su Yishan, it is you. The wind stunned. The 2 of them immediately remembered one thing, but they were indifferent. Hey, or who do you think it is? Nanfeng Ji-ru, this young master has been chasing you for so long, you are not giving face. Today, I will let you taste the power of this young master. Su Yishan smiled. As a Su family leader, Su Yishan naturally knows the true identity of Nanfeng. The relationship between the Su family and the royal family has been very subtle. In the college, Su Yishan also pursued the south wind for a long time, but Nanfeng has always been unassuming. Su Yishan pursues the south wind, on the one hand, considering the interests of the Su family, on the other hand, naturally because of the beauty of the south wind. Nanfeng is not only outstanding in appearance, but also a famous iceberg beauty. How can Su Yishan not be moved? When the south wind saw Su Yishan's words, he couldn't help but anger. Su Yishan, you are so bold. This time you will go back to the father and let him discipline you, Su Jia. Su Yishan sneered. That's why you have to go back. Hey, the school's beautiful sister and super genius both fall into the boundless forest, it's a pity. Just by you. Nanfeng Yan also sneered. Here Su Yishan stopped the south wind, and Yi Yuan on the other side has reached the end of life and death. Yi Yuan can of course summon him to fly out, but after he's summoned, he is already a dead person. The 3 brothers of Cheng's apparently did not know that Yi Yuan had conquered Fei Fei, but their serial killings happened to have blocked the possibility of Yi Yuan's call to fly. Often cautious in his life, his research on Yi Yuan is also very thorough. No matter how embarrassing Yi Yuan used to be, now is definitely an opponent that cannot be ignored. If Yi Yuan is ignoring him because of Yuan, he must definitely suffer a big loss. In fact, Yi Yuan's performance confirmed the idea of Chong Yi. In exchange for other martial arts, the arrow that Chong San's life has already shot through his heart. However, Yi Yuan not only avoided the arrow of Chong San, but forced the direction change in midair without being able to change the inertia of the body. This can no longer be described as powerful. The 2 assassinations of the 5 spirits were carefully smothered by a vitality. But that's okay, because often oneself is the one responsible for the last blow. Chong Yi, the strongest of the 6 spirits. Beginning with Yi Yuan entering their ambush area, Chong Yi is already ready to go, waiting for this last fatal blow. This blow is the strongest blow of the 6 men of the spirits. Due to the addition of Yi Yuan's 8-wave, his current volley speed is faster than before. The speed of Cheng Yi is faster than that of Chong Ji, which means that Yi Yuan and Chong Yi gather together at a faster speed than the second strike. Chong Yi is also using a sword. He seems to have seen Yi Yuan being stabbed by him, and his life is screaming. Ah, Yi Yuan is careful. The south wind was entangled in Su Yishan and could not be separated, but he saw the scene in which Yi Yuan was about to be killed. The princess of the south wind still cares about yourself. Seeing the reaction of the south wind, Su Yishan's heart was also a pleasure, and the abominable Yi Yuan was finally dead. Boom! Su Yishan smashed a gap and printed a shoulder on the south wind. Puff! The south wind was beaten and flew out, vomiting blood on the spot. At the same time, however, the script did not develop as planned. Chong Yi's sword eye is going to stab Yi Yuan, but suddenly there is a flower in front of him, and there are 9 leaves in front of him at the same time. After image. Yi Yuan is now in the air, how can he create a residual image? And the 9 leaves are far from real, which one is the real body? Chong Yi's knowledge swept through the 9 figures in an instant, but he was surprised to find that these 9 figures are all real. What's going on? Hell. However, at this time, the arrow was on the string and had to be sent. He could not bear to hesitate. Hey, the insects are small, the obstacles are just the way. Often he did not hesitate to choose the most middle leaf, which was his original goal. In such a situation, the afterimage is created, and it is a blind eye. The purpose is to confuse the senses of Chang Yi. And the real body has not changed since the beginning. Hey, Chong Yi's body passed through the afterimage. There is no such stagnation that pierces the body, and I am passing through the air. Chong Yi's heart could not help but sink. In order to deal with a vitality, the 3 of their brothers tried their best to arrange the killing of the game. The result was that Yi Yuan was slightly injured. In the layout, Chang Yi has absolute confidence, not to mention that it is a vitality, that is, a spirit of 7 heavy, in the absence of defense, but also to suffer a big loss. For Yi Yuan, Chong Yi has attached importance to the point where he can no longer pay attention. However, the results are still beyond his expectations. Until this time, Chong Yi couldn't figure out how Yi Yuan made 8 shadows in the state of volley. Also, which one is his real body? Boom. Ever behind, Yi Yuan fell heavily on the ground. Chong Yi also floated to the ground. It seems very relaxed, there is no Yi Yuan that wolf. Yi Yuan stood up and patted the grass clippings on his body. He said, I really want to thank you 3. Without you, I am afraid that the 9 swords are not finished so fast. Just a moment ago, Yi Yuan was not shocked, and instantly entered the state of hard as water. In the case just now, the more panic it is, the more it will die. Yi Yuan understands that if you want to get rid of this blow, you can only use the 9-sword style. However, his 9-sword style was not completed, and his body must have a foothold, but he stayed in the air at this time. In a critical moment, with the heart and mind, Yi Yuan will maximize his potential and finally complete the 9-sword style. Chapter 144. You are a genius. At this time, the Chong brothers gathered together, and the faces of the 3 people were not very good looking. Listening to the meaning of Yi Yuan, their well-designed killings actually helped Yi Yuan to break through. Just now that body martial arts is very mysterious, often one of the 6 spirits of this spirit cannot be separated, which is the real body. Yi Yuan, you will not naively think that you have escaped our ambush, you can safely retreat. Just that trick is very mysterious, but your realm is too low. Chong Yi Shen. Chong Yi designed this killing just to be just in case, and he was quick and sloppy, so as not to be extravagant. Even if he does not ambush, in his realm, killing Yi Yuan is just a sneak peek. Not to mention that there are Chong Er and Chong San next to him. Oh, you want more, why should I retire? If it wasn't for my last breakthrough, I have already been killed by you, can you easily let go of you? Although Yi Yuan is laughing and saying this, everyone familiar with him knows that Yi Yuan is really angry. It's just that Yi Yuan's threat sounds a bit funny. A 9-pointed little rookie threatens the 3 elites with more than 5 spirits. After Yi Yuan finished, the 3 brothers of Chang's family couldn't help each other. They all felt that Yi Yuan's brain was not a problem. With their understanding of Yi Yuan is very arrogant, but never does anything unsure. But the current situation does not seem to allow him to be arrogant. Yi Yuan will not be naive to think that he is the opponent of his own 3 people. Yi Yuan, I think you haven't figured out the situation yet. Chong Yi is somewhat inexplicable. Of course I have figured out the situation. Are the 3 of you a running dog of the Su family? I have killed the old dog of Su Yubai to kill me, isn't it? Yi Yuan sneered. Chong Yi apparently heard that Yi Yuan's mouth was so bad that he did not intend to bicker with him. He nodded and said, you made a mistake. It's not that the elders of Su have ordered us to come. We are killing you with the life of the family. Yi Yuan quite surprised. Homeowner. Is it the son of Su Yishan? Hey, that's the same. It seems that this time, I have to give the Su family a good look, otherwise they really think that the little man is so good. Quote. Chong Yi felt that there was some confusion. Although he had a detailed understanding of Yi Yuan beforehand, It was the first time to see Yi Yuan. He discovered at this time that Yi Yuan's personality is different from what he understood. In his impression, Yi Yuan is calm, and looks like a reckless but step-by-step. Now, Yi Yuan is clearly an inexplicable son, and he can't tell the difference. If Yi Hao's performance was too amazing, Chang Yi even thought that Yi Yuan was a fool. Chang Yi is in the wrong place. Yi Yuan pointed at his nose and said, "Hey, do you want 3 faces? 1 spirit is 6 heavy, 2 spirits are 5 heavy, to kill me, I dare not be fair. And with this kind of ambush means of the next 3 abuses. What kind of slaves did the master teach? The old dog of Su Yubai is so insidious, likes to attack people, you really are all the way." Chang Yi was stunned by Yi Yuan, and he could not help but doubt his own judgment. Is it true that Yi Yuan is really a guy? The unscrupulous dude. Of course, Yi Yuan's talents are more and more said, and it's definitely the capital of the sky. Even the younger Su Yishan is willing to go down the drain. In addition, Yi Yuan is really a second son. What I did before at Danwu College was just a mistake. Yi Yuan finished the Chong brothers and turned his head to Su Yishan. Su Yishan, you turtle grandson, you know that you are bullying a woman, have the ability to single-handedly with the young master. The cowardly guy, to kill I don't dare to start in the college, but I have to go to the infinite forest. The Su family will come to you, and sooner or later you will be defeated. Oh no, the Su family can't exist for so long, I will fight the Su family when I go back. Can't lift your head. Su Yishan was playing hot with the south wind, and suddenly heard the curse of Yi Yuan, could not help but hear it. A move forced the retreat of the south wind, and several ups and downs of Su Yishan came to Yi Yuan. The south winds also followed closely, and came to Yi Yuan, and the 2 sides fell into a state of confrontation. Yi Yuan took out a medicinal herb and threw it at the south wind. He said, "Nanfeng Shiji has worked hard and ate it. This little injury doesn't care." Nanfeng took over the drug, but he bowed his head. She knows that her identity has been known by Yi Yuan, quite awkward. Yi Yuan, you are going to be arrogant. Even if you have escaped the slain of the Chong brothers, do you think that you can still walk out of the infinite forest today? Su Yishan saw Yi Yuan's face calm, full of bad mood. Yi Yuan at this time, shouldn't it be a face? Yi Yuan looked at Su Yishan and smiled. I didn't plan to walk out of the boundless forest. Hey, you know it. The infinite forest is so fun, I plan to play for a few more days. As for whether you can go out, I can't guarantee it. Yi Yuan, you are not a broken brain. Can't you see, what situation are you in now? I just heard, are you going to single-handedly? Su Yishan looked at Yi Yuan like a fool. Yi Yuan smiled and said, yeah, the Tang family is a master, can you only bully a woman? We have the ability to single-handedly. Ha 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 ha. Su Yishan heard a burst of laughter and said, well, I will come to single with you. But, we are a group of people who single out you. Yi Yuan heard a big change in his face and panicked. Su Yishan. Are you still a man? Have one thing. Seeing Yi Yuan's appearance, Su Yishan felt extremely mad. He laughed and said, Yi Yuan, I think you really have a broken brain. We are all 4 people, killing you is like killing a dog, why should I talk to you? What do you play against? Do you think this is in college? Yi Yuan looked at Su Yishan, a proud face, and suddenly smiled very happy. You are still laughing when you die, Yi Yuan, I admire you very much. Chong Yi, Chong Chong San, killed Yi Yuan. Nanfeng Ji Ru left alive, I still use. Su Yishan commanded. Although the Chong brothers are dissatisfied with Su Yishan, they are still stunned at this time, but they will not refute the words of Su Yishan. After all, he is the future Su family. The Chong brothers are preparing to start, suddenly the face changes. Hey, in the blink of an eye, hundreds of white apes appeared in front of them, and they were together with Yi Yuan, surrounded by the group. These white apes, the worst strength is the second order early. Haha, Su Yishan, I found that I like your way of heads up very much. We are a group of people who single-handed you. Hey, you are a genius, even if you want this kind of heads up. Looking at Su Yishan laughed. Chapter 145 completely collapse. What is going on? Su Yishan widened his eyes and looked at this scene incredulously. Even Yi Yuan's ridicule could not be heard. There are hundreds of jewels out of thin air, and this visual impact is really too big. Everything is a second-order arm stone, and that kind of oppression is absolutely unforgettable. Su Yishan can even feel that his legs are snoring. Not only Su Yishan, the Chong brothers are completely stupid at this time. Even though they have experienced too many things, they have never seen such a big battle. These hundreds of second-order arm shovel are enough to bring Su Jiali over. Although most of these passer pillars are second-order early, there are many second and second-order mid and late stage. A second-order mid-term monster, he has been enough to cope with it, and hundreds of heads together, what does it feel like? At this moment, their nerves stretched to the limit. Space spirit, it must be a space spirit. Otherwise it is impossible to pretend so many monsters. Yi Yuan he actually has a space spirit. Chong Yi suddenly exclaimed. Empty, space spirit, how is this possible? Although the facts happened, Su Yishan still felt unbelievable. Yes, it is indeed a space tool. I don't think you have some insights, but personal things. However, you offended the young master, this is the most stupid thing you have done in your life. Although there is only a short amount of interest in the confrontation, Yi Yuan has seen it. Chong Yi is a think tank in the role of the think tank. With the character of Su Yishan, it is impossible to set such a delicate killing to wait for the rabbit. The absolute strength of the four of them is much stronger than that of Yi Yuan. There is no need to be so cautious. The last blow of Chong Yi was too subtle. In fact, it was absolutely invulnerable. Yi Yuan did indeed go to the end of life and death. If it wasn't for his last moments, he would break through and be a dead body. This shows that this is always a tough character. But unfortunately, his opponent is Yi Yuan. He is a great young man who has a must report, but he is not a good old man who complains with morality. For Yi Yuan, Chong Yi did not refute because he knew that Yi Yuan was telling the truth. The most stupid thing in this life, is to offend Yi Yuan. For Yi Yuan's actions at Danwu College, Chong Yi is naturally very clear. He knows that he is a temper with a hatred, so he has no choice but to ask for mercy. Brothers, fight. Don't worry about those monsters, kill Yi Yuan directly. Chong Yi is also decisive, directly ordered. Often, one by one, he took the first step and rushed to Yi Yuan. Chong San and Big Brother cooperated very tacitly, followed by 3 people in the shape of a letter to Yi Yuan to kill. Chong Yi is a move to death. In the face of so many second-order monsters, he does not feel that he can kill Yi Yuan. However, what makes Chang Yi unexpected and pleasant is that those second-order monsters have no reaction to this. These monsters did not even shoot them 3 people. Can it be said that these monsters are simply Yi Yuan got out to scare them? Yi Yuan can't command these monsters at all. This discovery makes Chong Yi ecstatic. Haha, I was almost cheated by you. It turns out that you can't command these monsters at all. Brothers, kill me. I often laughed. Yi Yuan has no movements, just looking at Cheng Yi with a smile, full of ridicule. Hey, it's still in the air when it's dead. Wind Thunder Sword. Chong Yi's sword appeared again in front of Yi Yuan, but this time, Yi Yuan did not bother to resist, he still stood still. At this moment, a white shadow slashed out and smashed the sword of Cheng Yi very violently, and then it became a scrap iron. Hey, 1 round, 3 palms, were hit in the chest of Chong Yi, Chong and Chong San. The figure was lightning fast, and the 3 of them did not see what it was, and the people flew out. The 3 people, wow, and spit out a blood. 3 third-order monsters. Chong Yi's face finally changed, and he looked at the tower-like white giant in horror. He now knows why Yi Yuan has not moved, because he does not need to move at all. There is a third-order monster guard around him, where is he still using his own hands? But, why did a third-order monster be obeyed by Yi Yuan? He is a martial artist. Chong Yi suddenly remembered that Yi Yuan had just come down from Shifengling and finally understood something, and could not change his face again. You have conquered the entire family of Shifengling stone-armed scorpions. Chong Yi stared at Yi Yuan. Oh, you finally reacted. I thought you were very smart. I didn't expect you to be so slow. Yes, Fei Fei and his people will follow me later. Of course not because of the often stupidity, but the impact he received today is too great. A member of the martial arts, accepting the entire Shijiao family in Chifengling, if you say it, others must regard him as a madman. However, this impossible thing is really happening. How is this possible? The king is a third-order monster, how can he be willing to take orders from you? And humans and monsters can't speak, how can you convince him? Chong Yi asked unwillingly. Do you think I need to answer your question? Yi Yuan sneered. Often one is with a strong doubt in his heart, and he will ask for an exit. In fact, he does not expect Yi Yuan to answer him. Chong Yi sighed and closed his eyes in pain. He sighed with a long sigh. Hey, Su Jia, and you are right, it is the biggest failure of the Su family. Perhaps, the Sujia will disappear completely from the stage of Qin state. Let's do it. With a long wave of his arms, he rushed up to the top of the second-order armor, and lifted the Chong brothers who had no backhand. After a while, there was a scream of tears in the distance, and the scalp was numb. The stone of the arm is hard to be wild, and it is always seen for human warriors. Only Yi Yuan knows the universal animal language, and can communicate with the savvy flying, otherwise the end is not much better than the Chong brothers. The voice screamed into the ears of Su Yishan, hitting his heart again and again, and had completely killed his psychological defense. Yi Yuan slowly walked toward Su Yishan. Su Yishan suddenly woke up, and then retired a few steps, until he hit a pass-armed sarcophagus. He was shocked and quickly fled. Yi Yuan, I am wrong, I am damn. I beg you not to kill me. It is the old asterisk of Su Yubai who forced me. They forced me. Su Yishan couldn't hold it anymore, and he slammed into the ground and pleaded for help. Chapter 146 Feeding. Yi Yuan looked at Su Yishan, who was lying on the ground with a nose and tears. He smiled and said, Su Xiaoye, I didn't say killing you, seeing you scared. Su Yishan is now a bird of surprise, and the brain is completely uncontrollable. I heard that Yi Yuan had the meaning of letting him go. He couldn't help but say, are you talking about it? Then, can I go now? Of course, it is impossible to go. My secrets have been looked at by you. If you leave, you will say that I have the space spirit. I am not dead and dead. Yi Yuan shook his head. Su Yishan was so scared that he had a soft foot. Yi Yuan meant this, and he had to kill him. You can rest assured that I can send a vow to heaven, and I will never say what I saw today. Su said. Su Yishan raised his hand and really wanted to make a vow of heaven. Yi Yuan said, this is not necessary. Su Yishan, I will give you a chance to single-handed. Kill me, you can leave here. Su Yishan stunned and immediately screamed and said, Yi Xiaoye, Yi Daxia, I really know that I am wrong, I should not be against you, I should not bring people to the infinite forest to kill you. Yi Yuan did not expect that Su Yishan was so unassuming that the arrogant gesture was gone. At this time, it was a shameless villain. Sometimes people are like this. They don't have a real life and never see a person's true character. Perhaps people who seem to be incomparably noble will become humble and shameful when faced with life and death choices. Perhaps people who seem cynical and misbehaving in the face are quite frank in the face of life and death. There are many things in life. Obviously, Su Yishan belongs to the former. If Yi Yuan let the stone smashed up, Su Yishan might even fight to resist. However, Yi Yuanwei did not kill, and there was the fierce death of the Chong brothers. The spirit of Su Yishan completely collapsed. Yi Yuan suddenly slammed his face and said, I don't have time to make fun of you. If you don't want this opportunity, I can kill you now. At this time, Su Yishan is obviously a master who eats hard and does not eat soft. Yi Yuan was angry, and Su Yishan listened to it. But, Su Yishan supported me. But I am not your opponent. Yi Yuan laughed. Su Yishan bowed his head and was obviously the default. However, at this time, he did not dare to say this. My little boy said that I was singled out with you, and I was singled out with you. You don't have to doubt this. However, the heads up I said is not the present, and it is conditional to give you this opportunity. Listening to Yi Yuan's saying, Su Yishan's eyes brightened and he felt that he had seized the last straw. What conditions? As long as I can do it, I will do it. Oh, I feel that my realm is solidifying. When my realm is consolidated, I can break through the spiritual environment. At that time, we will die and die. But before that, in order to help me consolidate the realm, I still have trouble. You give me a trick, Yi Yuan said. Ling, spiritual environment, so fast, Su Yishan. Yi Yuan has just broken through to the peak of Ju Ju Jufeng. It will take a long time to break through the spiritual environment. The warrior breaks through the big realm. Which one is not a war, such as a thin ice? I thought that when Su Yishan broke through the spiritual environment, he prepared for half a year, until he had great confidence, he dared to take this step. At that time, Su Yishan was already a half-step spirit. Yi Yuan is obviously only a peak of vitality. Is he going to break through the spiritual environment directly? This is too exaggerated, right? In Qin, the process of breaking through the spiritual environment must go through the process of half-step spiritual liquid. This is common sense for all people. No one has ever stupid enough to directly break through the spiritual environment. It is not impossible to directly break through, but the success rate of direct breakthrough is too low, so low that no one dares to try. From the vitality of the 9 weight directly to the spiritual environment, the success rate is negligible. At such a low success rate, who dares to try it easily? Yi Yuan has just broken through to the vitality of Zhouzhong, and now he has directly broken into the Lingye environment. Is this possible? You don't need to take care of you soon. I don't want to break into the spiritual environment anyway. You don't want to escape, so you still pray that I will break through as soon as possible. Yi Yuan said lightly. But if I won you, what do you do when you repent? Su Yishan was not a fool, and asked his own questions. Oh, then it depends on my mood. Anyway, I don't care, but you have to gamble this. Lose, you are a dead one. If you win, you can go back and continue to be your Su family. It is your only chance, if you want to follow it. Yi Yuan does not care. Don't, I want this opportunity. Of course I want this opportunity. Su Yishan quickly said. This is the only lifeline of Su Yishan. If he gives up, he is a fool. Yi Yuan can now let those monsters destroy him, but he himself is not looking for this trouble. How can Su Yishan let this opportunity pass? Yi Yuan nodded. In this case, you have to remember, you can only defend, cannot attack, completely my meat sandbags. At that time, I will let you fly in the side. If you have a thought of attacking, you will die very badly. Su Yishan certainly thought about hurting Yi Yuan when he was feeding. When he was said by Yi Yuan, he immediately put this idea in his mind. Just kidding, a third-order monster is watching the battle. Even if he reveals a hint of killing, the other party will not hesitate to kill him. If Yi Yuan is an ordinary person, he will be counted, but Yi Yuan's actual combat power is impossible for Su Yishan to kill. Therefore, he is still a good man in a sandbag. Yi Yuan, you are not going to be kidding. You are only alive and well. Even the half-step spirits have not arrived yet. How to break through the spiritual environment? Ah, I know. You must play Su Yishan. Southwind Ji-Ru surprised to find something. Yi Yuan is shaking his head. It is necessary to break through the spiritual environment within a few days. If you don't break it, I can't refine Yuanyang Dan. Green children can't be saved. So, no matter how can I break through the spiritual environment. But, you are not even a half-step spirit. What is the meaning of the half-step spirit liquid? The meta-environment to the spiritual environment is in one go. You artificially divide it into half-step spirit liquid and spiritual environment. In fact, it is the foundation of self-destruction, making the foundation of the spirit environment unreliable. Take a half-step spirit. Yi Yuan looked sullen. But, everyone is from the half-step spirit liquid impacting the liquid environment. Is everyone wrong? Yi Yuan heard the words but asked. All the people you said, add up to my master's dedication. Master respects his old man and says that the direct breakthrough is good. Do you think he will harm me? Nanfeng is actually unable to refute. Chapter 147 Start breaking. Boom. Yi Yuan remembered the 8 waves and was easily resolved by Su Yishan. Laugh. Yi Yuan is also a sign of absolute yang, invisible and fierce. and attacked Su Yishan, but he was dispelled by him. However, Yi Yuan does not feel decadent, but the more he fights, the more he rises. He doesn't need to think about defensive problems at all, and he has made the tricks he has made over and over again. Although the threat to Su Yishan is not great, the other party is quite embarrassed. Yi Yuan's attack is not the same as the general strength of the nine-powered. Even if the strongest card is not used, his attack can cause substantial damage to the two men of the spirit. If it wasn't for Su Yishan that broke through the four spirits, it would be these moves that would kill him. And Yi Yuan is letting go of the attack, and Su Yishan can only be beaten passively. Under this trend, Yi Yuan's attack is even more fierce. Yi Yuan's so desperate attack has lasted for 2 days. In the past 2 days, Yi Yuan has been snoring in addition to eating and sleeping, and the rest of the time is being practiced with Su Yishan. Such a free human sandbag, it is really hardy. Yi Yuaniu is more excited, and the more he plays, the less tired he is. He is sometimes excited to play for several hours. In contrast, Su Yishan, who has been tortured by Yi Yuan, is about to collapse. He really can't figure it out. Yi Yuan is just a matter of strength. How can there be such strong endurance? The attack is so strong, it is reasonable to say that the consumption of Yuanli should be very large, but Yi Yuan has been playing for several hours, but he does not have to eat back to Dan. Even if he is so mad, he may not be able to support an hour. But as the spirit of the four heavy in vitality, is it a grade? Su Yishan did not think about sneak attack on Yi Yuan, but Chi Fei's air machine has always locked him in the air, so that he did not dare to act rashly. Su Yishan believes that as long as he returns to a move, waiting for him will be a thunder blow. The horror of this king, he has already seen it, he is not his enemy. On these 2 days, Fei Fei has always witnessed the indiscriminate bombing of Yi Yuan. Sometimes he is also a gaze, and he does not know what he is thinking. However, the south wind has become idle for the past 2 days, but she also has a knot that has not been solved, and some of them have a lot of troubles. Yi Yuan heard the name of South Wind, fearing that she also guessed her identity. Nanfeng is the country's surname. In the Qin dynasty, no one knows no one. Nanfeng Auntie and Yi Yuan are already very good friends, but they have always concealed their identity, and they are not too good. These 2 days are far from consolidating the realm, and there is no time to manage this. Once he broke through the realm, will he pursue this matter? Will it alienate her from here? The south wind has become somewhat suffering. After another day, Yi Yuan still bombarded Su Yishan as usual. Suddenly, Yi Yuan stopped the attack and sat down on the knees. Yuan shuang 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 shuang. Su Yishan obviously also guessed what it was, knowing that Fei Fei could not give him the opportunity to approach Yi Yuan, so he retired to the side and meditated alone. Yi Yuan wants to break through, and Su Yishan has to take a break. Although he does not think that Yi Yuan can directly break through the spiritual environment, he is still well prepared. What kind of jokes? The vitality of the ninefold directly broke through the spiritual environment, even if he did not dare to do this. Not only his old man Su Yulin, Dean Darren, Wan Donghai, Nan Fengyi, these old-fashioned condensed crystal strong, who was not the capital of the year. However, none of them dared to break through the spiritual environment directly when they were energetic. What kind of joke? With a half-step spirit to make the transition, this is the method of the impact of the ancestors to explore the spirit of the environment. Yi Yuan want to challenge countless ancestors with one's own strength. Even with the talent of Su Yishan, it has been prepared for half a year. When Nanfengyu broke through the spiritual environment, it took less time to prepare than Su Yishan, but it also took 4 or 5 months. However, Yi Yuan is not prepared at all, just use a few days to consolidate the realm, and then directly begin to break through. If he succeeds, what are their so-called geniuses? When Nanfeng saw that Yi Yuan was preparing to break through, his mood suddenly became tense. Although Yi Yuan said that he is very confident, but this kind of challenge to the military to understand the limits of things, still led Nanfeng Jiru some less reassuring. A big realm is not to break through. In the face of breaking through the spiritual environment, no one dares to ignore it. Because once the impact fails, it will be damaged to varying degrees, and even the risk of falling into the realm. Although you can practice it again, the next time you hit the bottleneck, the difficulty will be even greater. This is also why all warriors will be cautious when they break through the spiritual environment. Yi Yuan, you must succeed. She knows that if Yi Yuan can't break through, Green will die. Once the green child is dead, the attack on Yi Yuan must be very big. This is a scene that Nanfeng is not willing to see. Yi Yuan sat in this way for half an hour, and his body gradually calmed down. He suddenly opened his eyes and took out a rushing out of the storage ring. He said to Fei Fei, "Hey, fly for me, I will start to break through. I am optimistic about Su Yishan, don't let him run." It is. The young master broke through with peace of mind, and all his own flying. Yi nodded and closed his eyes. Su Yishan, not far away, saw this scene, and there was another dark surprise in his heart. Yi Yuan, he really can communicate with this monster. No wonder he can conquer this third-order monster. Yi Yuan, there are really many secrets. Here, Yi Yuan adjusted his state, took down Ling Ling, and officially began to attack the spirit environment. Although everyone else feels that the impact of the spirit is extremely dangerous, but for the party Yi Yuan, it is not a great thing. His understanding of the power of heaven and earth is much stronger than any so-called master of Qin. Those who have strong condensed crystals have an understanding of the power of heaven and earth, and they do not match the shoes of Yi Yuan. For them, the spiritual environment is a big hurdle. For Yi Yuan, the spiritual environment is just a small threshold. The rushing into the abdomen is like throwing a small stone on a calm lake, breaking the original balance of the leaf body. Almost for a moment, the power of Yi Yuan's field boiled up. Hey, there was a whirlwind under Yi Yuan, and the whirlwind continued to expand, and then expanded, rolling up the fallen leaves. Yuanli Storm, it started. Chapter 148 9 Drops of Spirit Liquid. The circling of the Yuanli Storm brought a violent tornado, and the storm is getting bigger and bigger. The boundless forest is the land of abundant power, and Yi Yuanjin absorbs the gathered power from the unscrupulous and joins into Dantian. Well, what happened? This Yuanli Storm, it's not right. Su Yishan was surprised. He himself once broke through the spiritual environment. At that time, the Yuanli Storm he caused was compared with Yi Yuan, and it was simply a small witch. Yi Yuan's Yuanli Storm gave him the feeling of being like a flooding beast and violent. Such a violent and raging force has been pouring into Dantian, isn't it necessary to blast Dantian? Hey, let's burst, let's see how you can force it. Su Yishan's heart was gloating. However, just as he was gloating, the collar was suddenly caught by the back, and the chicks generally picked him up. Fei Fei slammed Su Yishan and quickly swept away, and they followed the south wind behind them. The Yuanli Storm formed by Yi Yuan's breakthrough is getting bigger and bigger, and it is already spreading to this side. So Fei Fei took the initiative and took the distance and retracted. Su Yishan, who was shackled, felt endless humiliation, but what can he do in the face of a third-order monster? He didn't want to be torn into pieces by the apes like the Chong brothers. A few of the flying bodies fell in the distance, about 100 feet away from Yi Yuan. Even if they are so far away, they can still feel the storm of the land. The expansion of Yuanli Storm has not stopped, but it is getting bigger and bigger. Yi Yuan is in the center of Yuanli Storm, and he has no idea what the outside world is. He has all his minds on the refining and chemical power. Different from the violent force of the outside world, the strength of Yi Yuan is incomparably well behaved. If the power of the outside world is a wild beast, the spirit of the 9 gods is a powerful animal trainer. After it was domesticated, it became very obedient. At this time, Yi Yuan was running the second stage of the article of the Lingyang Juyang Shenk. He did not expect that the breakthrough of the spiritual environment actually required such a large amount of power. It's no wonder that the guy who knows the asterisk of the gods is so strong. This is the breakthrough of the spiritual environment. The power needed is so huge. If it enters the realm of the King of God, what more horrible power should it be? Yi Yuan is like a hard-working bee, constantly refining Yuan Li with the Ling Yang Ju Yang Shen, and then transporting it into Dantian. The strength of Dan Tianli has accumulated more and more, and Yan Tian of Yi Yuan has gradually expanded. At this time, the impact of the liquid environment has reached the most important point, that is, the gasification of liquid. However, Yi Yuan did not control the strength of Dantian, and still constantly refining Yuanli, and continuously sent to Dantian. Yi Yuan's Dantian is getting bigger and bigger, and there is danger of explosion at any time. If you do not take any measures, it will really be like the wish of Su Yishan, will explode Dantian. No, Yi Yuan, he is still refining Yuanli. His Dantian, now it is estimated that it will burst up. It turned out that he did not know how to attack the spirit environment, and actually bet with me. Ha ha ha, Su, a mountain of gloating. The south wind glanced at him and angered. You shut me up. If Yi Yuan is dead, the king will kill you. So, you still pray that he will survive better. At least that, you still have the possibility of living in theory. Su Yishan dismissed his face. Even if he breaks through the spiritual environment, it is only a heavy one. I am a little higher than him. Are you so sure that he can beat me? Nanfeng sneered and said. Lin Tiancheng was not a little higher than Yi Yuan at the time. What is his end? You think that Yi Yuan is a fool. If you are not sure, will you make such a duel? Be sure, as long as he enters the spirit environment, killing you like killing a dog. Hey, that's why he broke through the spirit of the liquid. You see him, what is the difference with suicide now? Su Yishan mouthed hard. Nanfeng Jiru did not say anything at this time. Yi Yuan's behavior is really no different from suicide. Yi Yuan is going to do this at this time, instead of refining and chemical power. The Dantian of the warrior is no bigger, and cannot accommodate so much power. Nanfeng looked at Yi Yuan in the distance, and his eyes were full of worry. Instead, Fei Fei's eyes stared at Yi Yuan with a burning gaze, and he couldn't see whether he was worried or worried. Yi Yuan naturally didn't know their thoughts. Just as his Dantian was about to burst, a warm airflow poured into Dantian and wrapped up the riots. This airflow is the power of the rushing Lingdan. This medicinal force is like a dense pocket. It is all tightly wrapped in the expansion of the force, and it does not help to let them expand. With the help of Hong Ling Dan's potency, Yi Yuan's Dantian quickly recovered its original size. And those forces that refining and coming in are compressed by the force. Finally, the strength of Yi Yuan's body reached saturation, and he could not continue to refine the Yuan Li, so he began to gather gas in accordance with the method of Ling Yang Ju Yang Shen. Once the exercises were in operation, the forces in Dantian began to form a cyclone. At the same time, the strength of the rushing spirit and the refinement of the refining and merging force merged together, making the strength of Yi Yuandan's field become even bigger. Chong Ling Dan has a large amount of Yuan Li, and under the influence of other medicinal materials, the auxiliary warrior breaks through the spiritual environment. The prescription of rushing Lingdan is nothing to Yi Yuan, but it can definitely cause a storm in the Qin dynasty. This is what Yi Yuan knows, and the best remedy for the impact of the environment. Under the guidance of Lingyang Juyang God, the cyclone in Yi Yuandan's field has become smaller and more concise. Originally, there was no form of force, and at this time it turned into a misty fog in his Dantian. However, the fog at this time is not stable, and no real liquid force has yet been formed. This is also the most critical time for gasification. These fogs seem to be only one step away from the liquid force, but this is also the most unstable time. Once the rebound occurs, Yuanli will quickly return to its original form. When the military is light, the realm is regressing, and the damage to Dantian is serious, which will affect the future practice. The great thing about Lingyang Juyang Sheng lies in its overbearing unparalleled. How can such a strong law, and how can it give these fog a chance to rebound? Under the strong oppression of the Lingyang Juyang God, these fogs finally continue to condense together. Tick, a drop of liquid power drops, the first drop of spirit is fully formed. However, this is only the beginning. Tick, ticking. A drop of spirit drops, and finally 9 drops of spirit completely formed. 9 drops of Lingye. I did not expect this breakthrough to be so perfect, stronger than the previous one. Yi Yuan sighed. However, the breakthrough of Ling Ye is not over. Chapter 149 The Spirit is Changing. How? Dumbfounded. Nanfeng stunned and looked at Su Sanshan, who was stunned. It seemed very proud, as if she had broken through herself. Su Yishan is really dumbfounded. The strength of Yi Yuan's absorption is several times that of others. Such a huge force, shouldn't it be necessary to explode Dantian? Is Yi Yuan a freak, and Dantian is several times larger than others? What a joke. That is not a genius, it is a freak. Looking at Yi Yuan's appearance, how can it be as many times as many people than Dantian? However, what exactly did he do? Hey, do you want to guess? Yi Yuan has gathered a few drops of spiritual liquid. I guess it must be 7 drops, or even 8 drops. Su Yishan heard the words like a cat stepped on his tail. 8 drops. How is it possible? Not to mention that we are Qin, that is, the entire Yuyunzong area, and now the highest record is just 6 drops. Even if Yi Yuan is enchanting again, the 7 drops will reach the top. How could it be 8 drops? Why is it impossible? You said that he could not directly break through the spiritual environment. Now he has not broken through. And you have seen the Yuanli storm just now, which is several times larger than when we broke through. So terrible. Yuanli storm, it is not strange to condense 8 drops of spirit liquid. Maybe a lot of power was wasted by him. It must be like this. Idiot, I still don't accept the reality until now. Nanfeng was lazy to care for him. The number is extremely 9, the soul of the environment is a heavy weapon, the highest can only condense 9 drops of liquid. The process of practicing the Yuan force of the military is also the process of strengthening the whole body through Yuanli. In the process of cultivation, the meridians, the flesh, the dantian, and even the soul are strengthened. It's just that the strengthening effect of the soul is too bad to be noticed. But every time we break through a big realm, the strengthening of the body produces a qualitative leap, and the soul will change to qualitative change, resulting in a transformation. However, even after the warrior broke through the spiritual environment, Dantian was greatly strengthened, and at most he could only bear the amount of 9 drops of spirit liquid. If there is more, Dantian will only be blasted. Each of these 9 drops of spirit liquid contains a huge amount of power. Each drop is almost the sum of the strength of the Yuan dynasty reserve. It is conceivable how powerful the 9 drops of spirit liquid are. However, when the warrior breaks through the spirit environment, he wants to reach 9 drops of spirit liquid. It can only be described in 4 words, it is difficult to go to heaven. Most of the spiritual liquids are condensed between 1 and 3 drops, some genius warriors can condense more than 4 drops. Like Nanfengyu and Su Yishan, they are all condensed with 4 drops of spirit liquid. But the 4 drops are going up, the difficulty will skyrocket. Because the more condensed spirits, the more power is needed, and the martial arts Dantian cannot afford such a terrible force. The reason why Longtang can suppress the heroes with the triple spirit of the spirit liquid is because he has condensed 5 drops of spirit liquid. Every time the spiritual environment breaks through a certain realm, due to the limitations of Dantian, it can only reunite the amount of condensed spirits. That is to say, when Longtang's spirit liquid triple, there are already 15 drops of spirit liquid, and other spirits 4 students, but only have 16 drops. Such a subtle gap is not worth mentioning for the genius of Longtang, so he can be the first place in the list. In other words, when a breakthrough in the spirit of the environment, a few drops of spiritual liquid, it represents the height of the military can reach. Imagine that the warrior of Ju Di Ling liquid is the 98-1 spirit liquid when the spirit liquid is 9 heavy, but the 1-drop spirit liquid warrior has only 9 drops of spirit liquid. Such a gap cannot be compensated for by other aspects at all. Of course, most of the warriors are under 3 drops, so the gap between them will not be too obvious. Just 3 or less of the warriors, if there is no such thing as a villain, this life will stop in the spirit of the liquid. It is difficult to break through the condensed crystal environment. If you want to break through the condensed crystal environment, you must have at least 4 drops of spirit liquid. Even so, not everyone can break through the condensate. The more the spirit liquid, the greater the chance of crystallizing. For more than 7 drops of the warrior, the advanced condensate is almost nailed on the board. However, when the spirit liquid is heavy, the martial arts of the 6 drops of the spirit liquid, the entire area of the Union area, but only 2 people. One of them is the disappearance of today's Union Zong's door. This shows the difficulty of condensing 6 drops of spirit liquid. As for the 7 drops or more, that is the legend. At least in the area of Yuyunzong, I have never heard of someone condensing 7 drops of spirit liquid. This is also the reason why Su Yishan was so surprised. Even if he does not believe that Yi Yuan can condense 8 drops of spirit liquid, he can't refute the fact that Yi Yuan has condensed 7 drops of spirit liquid. Because the Yuan Li absorbed just more than he absorbed at the beginning. Far beyond the power of the 6 drops of spiritual fluid. In other words, Yi Yuan has surpassed everyone in the Yuyunzong area. This fact makes Su Yishan decadent and embarrassed, and is also afraid. Sure enough, Yi Yuan's enchanting degree has completely surpassed his cognition. 7 drops of spirits. That means that after Yi Yuan's practice, he can cultivate to the condensate scene. Moreover, when Yi Yuan was so angry, he was already so terrible. Now he has condensed 7 drops of spiritual liquid at one time. To what extent does his strength have to soar? If he knows that Yi Yuan is not condensing 7 drops of spirit liquid, but 9 drops that he can't think of, he doesn't know what to think. In fact, it is not only Su Yishan who dare not think about it, even the south wind does not dare to think. She said that 8 drops of spirit liquid, just to ridicule Su Yishan. In fact, she did not believe much, Yi Yuan can condense 8 drops of spirit liquid. Because, that is not a human. 9 drops of spirit liquid. I did not expect this breakthrough to be so perfect, stronger than the previous one. Yi Yuan himself is quite lamentable. In the last world, Yi Yuan only condensed 7 drops of spiritual liquid. Among the top forces in the domain, the 7 drops of spirits are not much better. The true genius characters are all condensed out of the 9 drops of liquid. 9 drops of spirit in the lower bound is the legendary existence, but in the gods, there are so many people can reach. Of course, it is also because Yi Yuan is not interested in the martial arts, otherwise it is not so great with his enchanting degree. This time, under the dual role of Chong Ling Dan and Ling Yang Juyang God, the perfect 9 drops of spirit liquid was finally achieved. At this moment, Yi Yuan suddenly felt the trepidation of the spirit, a feeling of a splitting headache. Oh, it hurts. Have you started? Condensed with the spirit, the impact of the liquid environment is only half done, and half is the baptism of the soul. This is the first metamorphosis in the true sense of the spirit of the warrior, it is vital. Chapter 150 The wind is abrupt. Oh, hey. The infinite forests that had been clear in the sky suddenly changed suddenly and were covered by layers of dark clouds. A number of lightnings were struck in the sky, and the thunder of the thunder came from far and near. What's wrong? What happened? Su Yishan was shocked. He had never seen such a strange weather, and he instinctively felt a little uncomfortable. This feeling of sudden change of the situation is not like the formation of nature, but rather the vision of heaven and earth brought about by some great powers breaking through the realm. Yuan Yuan Mu. This time, Fei Fei left Yi Yuan farther, and there are a few miles away. Boom. Fei Fei left Su Yishan with his hands, but his eyes were staring at the place where Yi Yuan broke through. Nanfeng Ji-ru also followed up at this time, watching the flying full of doubts. She would like to ask what happened to Fei Fei, but the language between them did not work, and asked Fei Fei to understand. But looking at Fei Fei's move, isn't the source of the vision of this heaven and earth actually Yi Yuan? How can this be? These worlds and visions, let alone break through the spiritual environment, even if it is a breakthrough in the condensed crystal environment, is not possible. What happened to Yi Yuan? Su Yishan got up awkwardly, just in time to meet the doubtful eyes of the south wind, could not help but anger. Don't look at me, where do I know what happened? This Yi Yuan is a freak. Freak. Su Yishan did not dare to rush to fire, and had to say 3 freaks in succession to express his dissatisfaction, while concealing his inner shock. Through the reaction of Fei Fei, Su Yishan apparently realized that the source of the vision of the heavens and the earth was Yi Yuan. However, he really can't figure it out. Yi Yuan is just a breakthrough in the spiritual environment. Why does it lead to such a terrible vision of heaven and earth? The south wind whispered for a while. Yi Yuan's gasification liquid has been completed, and now it should be a change of spirit. But the spirit of the gods will change. Will it cause such a vision of heaven and earth? Is it because he has condensed 7 drops of spiritual liquid? Quote, I don't know if I said it. The soul is just a programmatic. How can it cause such a vision? Su Yishan didn't have a good air. Nanfeng thought for a long time, did not think of a reason, so I had to carefully observe the movement of Yi Yuan. At the same time, the Union Zong outside Wanli, an old man with a sacred bone, broke out and looked at the distant vision of the heavens and the earth. It is the endless forest. What happened? Is it a 4th-order monster? But the 4th-order monster can't trigger such a vision. In the depths of the infinite forest, a scrawny old man looked at the vision that was rising from the sky, and he was also dignified. Which old monster has broken through? These visions are simply incredible. I am still far from him. This guy is breaking through in the boundless forest. Isn't it afraid to provoke the old monster inside? Although the old man was very curious about what happened, he still did not go back. Another part of the infinite forest. Here is the Wanyao Valley, known as the Forbidden City, where there are countless powerful monsters. In a cave in the deepest part of the Wanyao Valley, a teenager was sitting cross-legged. The teenager was meditating and practicing, and suddenly opened his eyes and muttered, "It is the breath of human beings. I can't think of the existence of such a bad thing in human beings. Unfortunately, I have reached the most critical moment at this time, otherwise I will go. We'll meet him." After that, the teenager closed his eyes and cut off the 5 senses. At this moment, countless strongmen without borders were alarmed by the vision of heaven and earth caused by Yi Yuan. It's just that they couldn't think of it. It's just a little spiritual environment that causes these visions. However, at this time, Yi Yuan's own situation is not very good. Hey, the spirit of the liquid, how can it hurt? At this time, Yi Yuan had a splitting headache, and the spirit had a feeling of being shredded, which made him feel uncomfortable. Yi Yuan has had experience in breaking through the spiritual environment. Of course, he knows what is going on in the spirit of the soul. But now, this pain has gone far beyond his experience. What? Yi Yuan finally couldn't bear it, holding his own head and rolling on the ground in pain. The south wind in the distance was shocked and saw that he had to rush to the ground, but he was stopped by the squad. Hey, don't you see Yi Yuan's painful look? Go and save him, Nanfeng screamed with tears. Fei Fei just shook his head and didn't mean to go. You Fei, Yi Yuan is your master. If something happens to him, you will also be retribution. Nanfeng saw that he couldn't move and threatened. Fei Fei waved his hand again and still didn't mean to go. When the south wind saw Yi Yuan, he kept rolling on the ground, and he became more and more painful. He couldn't stand it anymore. He raised his hand and slammed it. However, the speed of Fei Fei was faster than her, and she directly slammed into the back of the south wind, and the south wind suddenly fainted. Su Yishan is not clear on the side, so this flight is going to look at Yi Yuan to die. However, Fei Fei did not give him much time to think, and he also stunned Su Yishan. After doing this, I sat on the ground and sat quietly, watching Yi Yuan, who was rolling on the ground. Yi Yuan at this time, I feel that the whole person is being shredded. That feeling, even if he was a human being, has not tried it. Ji Qingyan is everyone on the soul, otherwise he can't be the youngest Dan. However, he has broken through so many realms in his life, and he has never had such a painful experience. This is just breaking through the spiritual environment. Yi Yuan's mind is about to be wiped out. At this time, the desire to survive supports him, and his Lingtai retains the last trace of clearness. Ji Qingyan wants revenge. Ji Qingyan wants to kill the gods, the traitor of the hand blade. Ji Yun still lives in the domain of God, how can he die like this? Yi Yuan is not reconciled. With the last trace of Qingming, Yi Yuan runs the thousands of souls. This is the first time in his life that he has been running the thousands of souls, because there is no meaning in the spiritual environment below the spiritual environment. Even so, Yi Yuan's familiarity with thousands of souls is rooted in the depths of the soul. In the last life, he practiced this law countless times. This law is like a part of his body. In the last life, Ji Qingyan was not interested in the exercises, and he was not interested in martial arts, but he was so addicted to the soul. As a refining pharmacist, Ji Qingyan is inseparable from the soul. However, the tried and tested, thousands of souls, this time has actually failed. How can this be? Chapter 151 God's text. Ah, what the asterisk is going on? Yi Yuan shouted in pain. Thousands of souls, is a powerful method of repairing the soul of the gods. Ji Qingyan and his son are the ones who have been cultivating this law. But now, even the thousands of souls can't solve the problem of tearing the soul. It's just a simple breakthrough. How can this happen? Just when Yi Yuanzheng was helpless and almost desperate, his soul changed again. A golden nameless text, slowly flowing into Yi Yuan's knowledge of the sea, like a trickle, instantly moisturizing the soul of Yi Yuan. These golden texts are infinitely inconspicuous. After each text enters Yi Yuan's knowledge of the sea, it disappears, and Yi Yuan's soul is also repaired. Gradually, the pain of the tears of the gods was alleviated until it finally disappeared. However, the entry of these golden characters is not over. They continue to enter the sea of Yi Yuan, not only completely repairing the soul of Yi Yuan, but also nourishing the soul of Yi Yuan. Let it grow up. What exactly is this text? Is there such a magical effect? Even if Yi Yuan was a generation of dandy, he had never seen such a strange thing. Just the text itself, you can make the spirit grow stronger. This is how it is against the sky. Are these words the soul of the soul? If you master these words, are you not going to be the anti-sky existence? Can it be said that these words have transcended the world and are the words of the legendary god? In order to study the path of medicinal herbs, Yi Yuan's previous life has read a lot of books and learned countless languages. But these golden words, he did not even know one. Where did the text come from? Why do you enter your own sea of knowledge? Yi Yuan is now full of doubts. This breakthrough realm is really too strange, beyond the knowledge of Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan's soul is no longer painful, but his sad discovery reveals that he can't do anything, and he can only let those words enter his own sea of knowledge. Since nothing can be done, Yi Yuan simply does nothing, and begins to savor those golden words. This careful taste, Yi Yuan immediately felt the unusualness of these words. Between the strokes, they all reveal a kind of charm of the Tao. It is a kind of sensation that can't be described by words. It seems that these words are describing this world. That feeling even made Yi Yuan have an illusion to break through the sky. Ji Qingyan used to be a strong king of the gods, but his realm is completely accumulated by the medicinal herbs, and the understanding of the heavens may not be profound. Even so, he is also a true king of God, and his insight into the heavens is extremely profound. However, when I saw these words, Yi Yuan felt that his understanding was not even a shit. In front of these words, Yi Yuan feels that the heavens he understands are like toddlers. These words contain the rich feeling of the avenue. Even if the leaves do not understand, the impact is deep into the soul. Don't it be said that these words are really the words of God? Over the existence of the King of God. But, where did they come from? Is it that I broke through the spiritual environment, and these words automatically enter my sea of knowledge? I didn't step on **** today. Yi Yuan knows that he has picked up the treasure. With his vision and insight, he naturally knows the difference between these words. Even in the face of this text, I am afraid that it is not as good as it is. This text, even if it is not the legendary text of the gods, is absolutely to make the whole **** domain crazy. Yi Yuan is sure that once someone in the domain knows that he has these words, he will certainly not hesitate to tear his soul away and find it out of his own knowledge by various means. Even if you can't read the contents of these words, and look at it every day in the sea of knowledge, the help for the warriors is great for a long time. These words contain avenues to the truth, maybe, can help the warrior to lead the gods. Godland. Thinking of these two words, Yi Yuan's body could not help but tremble. Which warrior does not yearn for the gods? Even if the former Ji Qingyan had no heart martial arts, what he pursued was the legendary Dan **** realm. To become a **** of Dan, you must first enter the gods on the soul. There is no God-level spirit, how can it be possible to refine the God-level medicine? Now Yi Yuan can refine the medicinal herbs, which is because these medicinal drugs are too low, and the requirements for the soul are not high. However, the order of the medicinal herbs is higher, and the more refined the refining system becomes more and more difficult. Without a strong support of the realm of the soul, it is impossible to refine it. If it is not for the transformation of the spirit, Ji Qingyan is too lazy to promote the realm of the king. The gods can make all the warriors crazy. Yi Yuan has produced a series of speculations on this golden text. First of all, is this golden text, will it be written in the script of God? Probably, because these words can directly affect the soul of the soul, not only repaired his wounded soul, but also nourished his soul. Secondly, if you fully understand these golden words, can you break through the heavens and the earth and lead to the fascinating realm of God? Also a possibility, but Yi Yuan thinks that it may not be that simple. The mystery of these golden words can no longer be described in words. With Yi Yuan's capital, he could not comprehend it. Want to fully comprehend, how easy is it? In addition, the reason for the decline of the gods is not clear, but I am afraid that it is not so simple to practice a practice, even if this practice is a divine practice. 100,000 years ago, the gods of the gods disappeared overnight. No one knows where they went, and no one knows why they disappeared. But since then, the domain has never been born into a god. Not only that, but all the secrets about the gods seem to have disappeared overnight. 10,000 years have passed, and time has wiped out more secrets. Today, no one knows how to break through the realm. In the 100,000 years, there have been countless geniuses who are amazing and fascinating. They want to try various ways to break the shackles. In the end, they are all empty. There are even more peerless powers, so they fall down halfway and leave endless regrets. Ji Qingyan was once hailed as the most talented person who could break through Dan, but that was just a compliment from everyone, or a certainty that everyone gave him. There is no one at all, thinking that he can really break through the realm of Dan. Because, that is 100,000 years of embarrassment, no one can break. Just as Yi Yuan was thinking about it, the golden text had completely entered the sea of Yi Yuan. Just when Yi Yuan breathed a sigh of relief, Yi Yuan's whole person was shocked, and the soul was also a-trembling, tears bursting out. Chapter 152 Father is a mountain. In Yi Yuan's knowledge of the sea, two faint shadows stand opposite each other. Yi Yuan looked at the kind and stalwart figure in front of him, crying and crying. I am stupid, I am stupid, I am stupid, I should have thought of it. Who else will do this for the baby besides you? Yi Yuan burst into tears and his emotions almost collapsed. Since reborn, Yi Yuan has always been calm, and he has never been so out of control. He has always buried hatred in his heart, put all his mind on cultivation, and only hopes to kill the gods one day and get rid of the rebellion. This time, in the face of this person, he can no longer calm down. That is the father who raised him, taught him alchemy, and taught him to practice, the most powerful dandy Ji Zhengyang. The man has tears and does not flick, but it is not sad. Ji Zhengyang's face and ambiguity did not cause suffocation because he was killed by the counterattack. He looked at Yi Yuan's gaze and was full of love. Ji Zhengyang kindly smiled and said, Yun, you can see that you are born again, and you are very comforted by your father. What can you do recently? Well, the baby is all well, but he often misses his father. Yi Yuan whispered. Oh, what do you miss about a dead person? Since you have a new identity, a new life, you should go to a new life, don't always indulge in the past. Yaowang Temple is already a past cloud, the past things, let he past. Ji Zhengyang smiled indifferently. How can that be? Father's nourishment, Yunner is a broken bone, and I don't forget it. And the traitor, don't break him down, how can I hate my heart? The scene of my father's death, Yunner don't forget it. God cares, let me Ji Qingyan reborn once, this hatred is not reported, why is it? Ji Zhengyang stretched out the illusory palm and stroked Yi Yuan's head as usual. Only at this time, Ji Zhengyang is a remnant soul. There is no entity at all. How can I touch Yi Yuan? However, Ji Zhengyang did not seem to care about this. Although his palm passed through Yi Yuan, he did not touch anything, but his face showed a satisfied smile. Looking at this scene, Yi Yuanxin is like a knife. Yun, you are reborn, but it is not a matter of heaven, but for the Father to send you the lower bounds with the secret of the gods. But I hope that you live in hatred all day, blinded by hatred. In that case, you become a revenge machine. That is not the result I want to see. Ji Zhengyang sighed. Yi Yuan was shocked and his eyes were unbelievable. Reincarnation of his own life, turned out to be the father with great powers. How is this possible? However, Yi Yuan suddenly thought of something, and immediately excited. Father, since you have such ability, do you also arrange for yourself to be born again? Where are you born again? I am going to find you. Ji Zhengyang smiled and said, Yun, you want more. Ji is deliberate, how can he give the opportunity to escape from the father? At that time, I sent you away, and the father has tried his best. Only he underestimated the strength of the father. I left a line of life for you. At that time, my soul had been shattered by him, in a state of extreme weakness, but there was no soul flying. Just with his spiritual realm, I could not detect my existence. So I was hiding in the void. When he kills you, he will use the secrets of the sky. Let him think that you are already flying, and my remnant soul will take your soul to the void and enter the lower bound. Yi Yuan knows that his rebirth is not an accident, but that Ji Zhengyang is trying to exhaust his soul and seek for his own life. Ji Zhengyang said it was simple, but Yi Yuan could feel the danger at that time. Ji Yun's soul is not low, and he will never find a remnant. Ji Zhengyang wants to sneak through the exploration of Ji Yun and hide it. He also wants to use the secret method to make Ji Yuan think that Yi Yuan is dead, and then break the void to bring his own lower bound. This process consumes a lot of soul. If it is not because of saving himself, Ji Zhengyang is fully capable of escape alone. With Ji Zhengyang's spiritual realm, reincarnation is not difficult. However, Ji Zhengyang did not do this, but spent all his time and left this line of life to himself. This is a father's choice before his death. This is like a mountain like father's love. How should Yi Yuan repay? He has no chance. If you can, Yi Yuaning is willing to die as himself. However, Yi Yuan knows that his father's remnant can't support it for a long time. This time, it is forever. Father, after Ji Zhengyang finished, Yi Yuan was already crying. Zizi Mo Ruofu, Ji Zhengyang never doubted his son's filial piety, so he smiled and said, Yunner, telling the father and you this is not to make you think about what to pay for, just hope that you know that the father just wants you to be good. Live, not become a machine for revenge. But Ji Yun is so rebellious, can we just forget it? Yi Yuan was not willing. Ji Zhengyang shook his head and said, it is not the meaning of the father. I also know that you can't stop your revenge. You have memories of past lives. It is a matter of time to fly up to the gods in the future, and it is sooner or later to meet with Ji Yun. But the father does not want, yours the heart is completely blinded by hatred. What is the difference between you and the walking dead? If you really kill Ji Yun, your life will completely lose its meaning. When you lose yourself, your realm will be no longer in the way. Yunner, you have to stop and look at the people around you, you have to live up to their expectations of you, now it's not Ji Qingyan. Yi Yuan's heart was shocked, and his mind was involuntarily revealed in Yi Hang, Ren Hongling, Lu Er, Nanfeng Ruo Qing, Nanfeng Wei, Huyan Yang and Tang Yu. Yes, I am not Ji Qingyan anymore. I am Yi Yuan now. I have parents and brothers, teachers and friends. Yi Yuanshan took a deep breath. Zheng focused on the head. Father, the baby knows. You can rest assured, I am still your son Ji Qingyan. However, I am also the son of Yi Hang and Ren Hongling, Yi Yuan. I will not let you disappointed. Ji Zhengyang has a smile and is obviously very satisfied with his son. In fact, he has always been very satisfied with his son, starting from his birth. Although both Yin and Yang are separated, it is enough to know that he is living very well. Oh, when did my cloud son let the father be disappointed? But you have to promise to be the father, and you will return to the gods in the future. You must do what you can. Don't be reluctant. Ji is powerful, but he can't be alone. Subversion of the drug king Hall. He must have more powerful people behind him. Ji Jungyang shouted. Yi Yuan nodded. Father, rest assured that the child is self-disciplined. Father, baby, this world must enter the realm of God, fulfill your long-cherished wish of my past life. Chapter 153 God of Medicine. Seeing Yi Yuan's mention of the gods, Ji Jungyang's face also showed a yearning look. God, is it really a great wish? Yunner, believe that you can crack this 100,000-year puzzle and step into the realm. If Yi Yuan is so arrogant, Ji Jungyang sounds, but he does not hesitate to choose to believe. Father, you can send the baby to the lower world and regenerate. What is the realm of your soul? Yi Yuan asked his doubts. The soul of Yi Yuan's past life is also very strong, but he can't reincarnate, let alone reincarnate others. So he is very curious, to what extent his father is so powerful, he is able to make his own reincarnation. Ji Jungyang smiled and said, as long as you have a good understanding of the drug of medicine, it is not difficult to achieve my realm with your talents. Drug God Spirit, is it the golden text that I entered into the sea? Yi Yuan said differently. Not bad. For the father, the realm of the gods and souls leaps and bounds, because of the daily experience of the medicine spirit. It turns out that it is no wonder that my father was able to refine the half-step Shendan. It turned out to be such a magical secret. Can it be said that the father's soul really reached the legendary half-step god? Yi Yuan was surprised. Ji Jungyang shook his head and smiled. What half-step Shendan? That is all made by Ji Yun, that the medicinal medicine is only slightly stronger than the medicinal herbs of the 9th order peak. Where is the half-step Shendan? In the realm of the soul, I am still far from the half-step of the gods. If I reach the semi-god, where does Ji Yun have the opportunity to start with me? However, the more I understand the God of medicine, the more I feel God innocent. Yi Yuan was once the king of the gods, and naturally he could feel the emptiness of the gods. But listening to Ji Jungyang said that he feels that the future is difficult. This drug of the God of medicine is so mysterious, can't even help his father to set foot in the realm. Father, this God of medicine, where did you come from? Why did the baby never hear it? Yi Yuan was curious. This drug of medicine was obtained for the father from the Shank mountain range, but this drug of the medicine is only a ruin. I still don't know its origins. When I got it, it was just a broken book. Very inconspicuous. But when I used the knowledge of God to detect it, these golden words were automatically imprinted into my soul, and I could not take it out. I could only enlighten it every day. Until my soul and soul have when it was broken, it was barely able to manipulate these golden characters. Ji Jungyang explained. It turned out to be a mountain of gods. It's no wonder. 10 years before the fall of his father, he had joined many gods and kings with the gods and mountains. Is it the God of medicine that was acquired? Yi Yuan reveals the sound of it. Color. The gods and kings are indeed top-notch in the domain of the gods, but they are not the best in the world. In the gods, there are some Jedi. Even if the king of the gods enters into it, there is a risk of corruption if you are slightly careless. The Shank Mountains are one of them. As the name implies, even the place where the strong gods are going to fall. What is the king of the king? Of course, there is another saying about the Shank Mountains. Countless years ago, there was a war in the world, and all the heroes who participated in the war were strong. That war has fallen into many gods, so it was later called the Shank Mountains. However, it has been a long time, and what kind of statement is correct is no longer acceptable. Only one thing is certain, that is, the Shank Mountains are very dangerous places, and there are places with big chances. This drug of the God of medicine may be the soul of the soul that is left by a strong god. Ji Jungyang nodded. Yes, that was the time I got it. You have also seen the God of medicine. Now, you should know its appeal. I couldn't control these golden words at the time, so I didn't tell you for the time being. Later, when I intend to pass on the drug of medicine to you, I don't expect that to happen. Oh, it's really making people. With your talent, if you give me hundreds of years to learn about the God of medicine, if you are, maybe you can reach the half-god. For the king of the gods, the time of hundreds of years is not long, maybe it is only a time of retreat. Ji Zhengyang gave Yi Yuanding only a few hundred years, showing how confident he is to his son's talent. Yi Yuan heard the words but said, "Father, maybe this world is my chance. I used to ruin the martial arts in the last world. Even if I got the drug of medicine, it would not be possible to reach the semi-god. Will be devout martial arts, pursue the supreme godland, will never let the father down." Ji Zhengyang smiled and said, "I naturally will not be disappointed. The father has observed your new body, your cultivation is very good, and the foundation is very strong. The 9 drops of spirit liquid, the transformation of the soul is also perfect. As long as you go one step at a time, it is not a dream to step into the realm in the future. Well, the time is almost up, and the father should leave. After the father is not with you, you must take care of yourself." Between the talks, Ji Zhengyang's figure is getting weaker and lighter, that is the sign that the remnant soul is about to disappear. Yi Yuan's eyelids became blurred again in an instant, and it's hard to get together with the father and son, but it's so hurried. This is nothing, forever. Yi Yuan desperately wants to catch Ji Zhengyang, but how can he catch a remnant soul that is about to disappear? "Father, you can rest assured that the baby has grown up, I will take care of myself. I will step into the realm in the future, and I must find a way to resurrect you." Yi Yuan has a tearful way. "Oh, silly boy, life and death is a god, you just have to, yourself, good, just fine." The remnant soul of Ji Zhengyang is getting weaker and lighter, and it is getting weaker and thinner. "Once again, I saw my father leaving myself, and Yi Yuanxin was like a knife. He only hates that he is too weak. If he has the strength of his father, he will be able to leave his father's soul and even let him come back to life. However, now he can't do anything." Yi Yuan once again realized the deep feeling of powerlessness, which he did not like very much. Yi Yuan must be stepping into the realm of this life. Heaven and earth are not benevolent, and everything is a hyena. I am going to leave my own avenue, and I will reverse this heaven. At this time, Yi Yuan has returned to reality, and Yi Yuanyang has long shouted. At this point, Yi Yuan broke through the spiritual environment and finally completed. The vision of heaven and earth dissipated, as if it had never appeared before. Yan Fei took the unconscious Nanfeng and Su Yishan to Yi Yuan, and Yi Yuan had not completely recovered from the sorrow. When he saw Su Yishan, he could not help but kill. Chapter 154. How could it be so strong? 2 more. What's wrong with me? Ah, Yi Yuan, it's great that you are fine. The south wind awake and woke up, seeing Yi Yuan safe and sound, could not help but a big joy. Unconsciously, Nanfeng's concern for Yi Yuan has become an involuntary habit. "Oh, but it is just a breakthrough in the liquid environment, what can be done?" Yi Yuanxiang suppressed the grief in his heart, and laughed. "But you just really scared, holding your head on the ground and rolling. I thought I see your painful look, want to come over to help you, but I was stunned by this guy. Hey," he pointed at Fei Fei and looked uncomfortable. If it wasn't because Fei Fei was too powerful, she was estimated to be a sword at this time. "He doesn't give you the right thing, you don't blame him. My soul is not the same as others. After a special baptism, it will be so painful. At that time, I was very dangerous in the range of a few feet. If you rushed over, you will be hurt by the soul," Yi Yuan explained. Nanfeng looked at Yi Yuan with suspicion and looked at Fei Fei. "Really? Of course it is true, otherwise you can feel my soul and know what I am saying." Said, Yi Yuan's soul force was released, and Fei Fei and Nanfeng Jiru clearly felt the sorrowful soul power. You actually broke through to the middle level of Danshi." The south wind stunned his face and began to stutter. The flying side of the side is also quite unexpected. The 2 blinking eyes are obviously very surprised. Under normal circumstances, the soul of the warrior is to follow the realm. What kind of realm will have the corresponding soul force, except those who are born with a powerful soul? Before Yi Yuan's breakthrough, the soul can only be said to be similar to the average person. Even if he has experienced the change of spirit, it should be only the level of Dan's primary soul. How can he directly have Dan's intermediate spirit? Yi Yuan smiled and said, "I didn't say it right now. My soul is not the same as others. After experiencing such a painful baptism, I get more natural than others. But, if you have the middle-level soul of Dan, can you directly refine the second-order medicine? Nanfeng was surprised. She remembered that when Yi Yuan was full of energy, she would be able to refine the second-order medicinal herbs. So now is it at least the strength of a senior Dan teacher? This is too fast, right? Do you have a second order? Even if you don't have the middle-level soul of Dan, there is no problem. For Yi Yuan, these medicinal herbs in Qin state are not difficult at all, and it is too easy to refine the second-order medicinal herbs. What is really difficult is the medicinal herbs that transcend the second order. If Yi Yuan's soul power does not break through, it is really difficult to refine. After all, the second-order medicinal herbs are much more difficult than the first-order medicinal herbs. If you want to refine the medicinal herbs, the difficulty will naturally become larger. The south wind sighed deeply and said, Su Yishan has a saying that is true. Yi Yuani stunned and said, what did he say about me? You are a freak. Rarely, Nanfeng agreed with Su Yishan's words, because everything that happened in Yi Yuan can't be described by the word normal, and it can only be described as freak. Yi Yuan haha smiled and said, it is rare that Su Yishan has rated me so high. In order to thank him, I will give him a chance to fight for a fair. The south wind screamed and was shocked. He quickly said, you don't really want to be one-on-one with him. You just broke through. There are cockroaches flying in me, you don't have to be tempted. The implication is that Yi Yuan is not an opponent of Su Yishan. Nanfeng's thoughts are not wrong. Although she knows that Yi Yuan is very strong, she must be more powerful after breaking through the spiritual environment, but he has just broken through, and Su Yishan is 3 times higher than him. This gap is not so easy. Make up. Nanfeng knows that after the spirit environment, the more difficult the battle will be more difficult, because the gap between each small realm is even greater. One of the 3 drops of the spirit liquid and one of the same 3 molecules of the spirit liquid, the difference between the 3 drops of spirit liquid. In other words, the meta-power difference between them is doubled. If you want to make up for this gap, it is very difficult to do without the means of against the sky. Between Yi Yuan and Su Yishan, there are 3 small realms, and a small step is crossed in the middle. The gap between the two is too big. Yi Yuan just smiled and said, do not worry, I have my own size. Just then, Su Yishan was also waking up. Seeing Yi Yuanzheng looking at him with ill will, he did not come to the ground. Su Yishan, come on. I said that I will give you a chance to single-handedly. Now, we are one-on-one for life and death. Yi Yuan's words took a sigh of the world. Do you really want to be one-on-one with me? Su Yishan obviously can't believe it. The advantage of Yi Yuan's side is too obvious, and there is no need to do such stupid things. What, you don't want to? Yi Yuan's tone became cold. Will, of course, Su Yishan quickly said. By this time, he is already involuntarily. Since Yi Yuan is stupid, if he does not grasp this opportunity, is he not as stupid as Yi Yuan? It's just that he is worried that Yi Yuan will only use him to measure his strength. In the end, he will let Yan Fei kill himself. If you change to his own words, it will definitely do this. You don't have to worry, you can't shoot with Fei Fei and Nanfeng sisters. As long as you can kill me, you can leave here. I will let Fei Fei hold the Nanfeng sister and prevent him from shooting. Yi Yuan sees Su Yishan's worry, said faintly. Yi Yuan, you. The south wind jumped up and jumped, but was dragged by Fei Fei. Su Yishan saw this scene, and his heart could not help but burst into a big joy. He has been too wrong in these days, and he has lived for nearly 2 decades. He has never been so grievous. Haha, Yi Yuan, this is what you are looking for, then don't blame me for being rude. You don't think naively, just breaking through the spirit environment is really my opponent. One-on-one, it's not time for me to be a partner. Su Yishan laughed. Yi Yuan said faintly, there is so much nonsense, come on. Yi Yuan, you are looking for death. Su Yishan gritted his teeth and punched the leaves. If it is normal, Yi Yuan will definitely avoid this punch for the first time. At this time, Yi Yuan did not evade, and directly hit an 8-wave wave, and the two were together. Boom! After the fierce collision, the two returned a few steps. Su Yishan's face was full of shock. Are you just breaking through the spiritual environment? How could it be so strong? Chapter 155 Venting Emotions. Yi Yuan's moves. Su Yishan is too familiar. Stacks of waves, palms, 8 waves. The question is, how can the 8 waves have such a powerful power? I have a hand with myself, and I don't even fall into the wind. 8 waves are stronger, and it is only a first-order martial arts. Yi Yuan is just a breakthrough in the spirit of the environment, a spirit of a heavy warrior, using a first-order martial arts, even with his own spirit of the 4 weapons of the war. When is the first-order martial arts, when is it so strong? When the spirit is heavy, when is it so strong? Yi Yuan snorted and dissatisfied. Sure enough, the first-order martial arts is not enough. Yi Yuan has just broken through the spiritual environment. In addition to his martial arts, essence of emptiness, martial arts, including the Yang, are first-order martial arts. With the first-order martial arts to match the spirit of the 4, it is obviously not enough. Just now this shot seems to be equally divided. In fact, he is still at a distinct disadvantage. Yi Yuan received more impact than Su Yishan, and the distance of retreat was farther. When Nanfeng saw this scene, he also closed his mouth and did not struggle in the hands of Fei Fei. Obviously, the shock brought by this scene is not too small. Although Su Yishan's palm was not his strongest, he did not retain his strength. The second-order intermediate martial arts combined with the strength of the spirit of the 4, Yi Yuan how to see is also the end of severe vomiting, but Yi Yuan just stepped back a few steps. Nanfeng Ji-Ru suddenly remembered something and asked aloud, Yi Yuan, how many drops of spirit do you have? The south wind Ji-Ru this question. Su Yishan also raised his ears. He is also very curious. In the end is 7 drops or 8 drops. Yi Yuan did not look back, just faintly said, 9 drops. Su Yishan's eyes are old and round. 9 drops. Impossible. In this world, how could someone condense 9 drops of spirit liquid, and Dantian has not been blasted? Yi Yuan said faintly. You don't know, it doesn't mean no. Qin is just a glimpse of the land. You are just a frog at the bottom of the well. What a joke, I don't believe it. The frog at the bottom of the well. It seems that you are not a Qin Goran. Haha, I know, you must have only condensed 7 drops, you have to swallow your face, or you want to shake my mood. It is not Su Yishan who refuses to believe it, but the 9 drops of spiritual liquid is more legendary than the legend. In his conception, it is completely impossible to appear. However, Yi Yuan said that he had condensed 9 drops of spirit liquid, which broke the absolute meaning of Su Yishan's cognition, so he chose not to believe. But deep down, a discordant voice is telling Su Yishan, Yi Yuan said it is true. Otherwise, how can I explain that Yi Yuan can use the same level of spirituality as the one with the first-order martial arts, and play with him? Although Su Yishan has not seen the warrior of the 7 drops of spirit liquid, he knows that the warrior of the 7 drops of spirit liquid is absolutely impossible to have such a powerful strength. In other words, Yi Yuan has at least condensed 8 drops of spiritual liquid, even the 9 drops that Su Yishan is not willing to admit. I am just stating a fact and have not let you believe it. You believe it or not, you can't change the ending. Yi Yuan does not care. Hey, I don't believe it. You are only enchanting and only a heavy liquid, can you reverse the sky? Su Yishan angered. After that, Su Yishan once again got up and fought with Yi Yuan. The two people's body is approaching the utmost, turning into 2 afterimages, and they are constantly colliding together, and they have dozens of words in the blink of an eye. Needless to say, Su Yishan's body method is also a second-order advanced body martial arts skill, which is no worse than the Nanfeng's Lingen dance. However, after Yi Yuan broke through the spiritual environment, with the support of huge Yuanli, the real power of the first heavyweight of Essence of Broken Sky was also revealed. His speed is even so quicker than Su Yishan. The outsiders can't see it, but the feeling of Su Yishan is very clear. Because of this half-finance, his attack is always slower than the leaf, which makes him unable to exert his full strength every time. Yi Yuan's octagonal waves and Yang fingers are powerful first-order exercises, especially the Yang. At this time, the power has not been the same as that of the Yuan dynasty. Although he could not cause real harm to Su Yishan, he was unable to let him go. Yi Yuan took advantage of this half-shot, coupled with the powerful power of the sun and the 8 waves, and the battle with Su Yishan became a tie. This feeling makes Su Yishan want to vomit blood. He now has some regrets, and Yi Yuan is so big, he should sacrifice the strongest move from the beginning, and Yi Yuan decided to die. In this case, it is impossible for him to withdraw from the war. Yi Yuan is like a madman, who is stalking him from beginning to end, and does not give him a breather. Damn, I can't think of his strong body, and he is on his way. Su Yishan responded while secretly whispering. His current thinking is very simple: find a chance to get out of the game, and then enlarge the move. However, Yi Yuan is not giving him this opportunity. At this time, Yi Yuan is like a tireless old cow. All the tricks and screams are all greeted by Su Yishan. Just had a life and death with his father, Yi Yuan has endless sadness in his heart. He turned this sadness into combat power, and all of them were released on Su Yishan. The current Su Yishan is just the object of his venting of his emotions. In this way, the two men played hundreds of rounds in the rest time. Boom! Another collision, the two separated. Yi Yuan finally gave up the entanglement of Su Yishan, and the negative emotions in his heart vented almost. After separation, both of them were panting. Obviously, such a high frequency of the bang is very physical and powerful. Gasping for a few mouthfuls, Su Yishan took the lead to go back. He said to Yi Yuan, Yi Yuan, don't think that your body is going to be great. Have the ability, you crack my trick. After that, Su Yishan's palms are in the sky, and it's the starting style of the sky. Su Yishan is already a 4-pronged spirit. At this time, it is not the same as in the college. A sultry imposing manner spreads out, and it is actually a feeling of a landslide. Yi Yuanshan took a deep breath and packed up his mood. He took out the Kangwa sword and said, the warm-up exercise has already been done. Now use the 9-sword style that was made by your assassination to send you on the road. After that, the figure was 1 point, and 9 leaves appeared in front of Su Yishan. Su Yishan couldn't help but see the pupil shrink. He didn't expect Yi Yuan to hide such a powerful move. The matchup with Changyi was only a matter of moments. He was fighting against Nanfeng, and he did not see how Yi Yuan escaped the assassination. Later, in the practice, Yi Yuan did not use this trick. As soon as I saw it, the shock of the 9 figures brought to Su Yishan was too great. Chapter 156 God's Secret Skills. 4 more. The horrible swordsmanship is also diffused, and the momentum of Su Yishan is far away, but it does not fall into the wind. This sword is really impressive. At the beginning, for Lu Ruoshui, Su Yishan was beaten by Yi Yuan, and was hit by this sword. However, at this time, the Qing dynasty drifted away from the sword, and it was not the same as the original. Yi Yuan's swordsmanship is extremely high, but there is no relative strength to match. Today, Yi Yuan has already broken through the spiritual environment, and has condensed 9 drops of spiritual liquid, and then exerted the power of the green gang gang ling gn gn zran 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 zran. Yi Yuan's 9-sword style, which is displayed this time, is no longer lined up, but 9 very messy figures. After the completion of the 9-sword style, Yi Yuan has been able to display these 9 figures at will, and can control the time of issuing swordsmanship at will. As a result, the power of the 9 swords will be much greater. The swordsmanship issued by the 9 messy figures is much more difficult to defend than a word. And Yi Yuan can adjust the time sent by Zhongmeng according to the situation of the opponent. This change in rhythm is the most difficult to guard against. If it is not too strong than Yi Yuan, the opponent has just defended a sword, and the second sword will come when Xinli is not born. How to defend? This is the most powerful place for Yi Yuan to create this 9-sword style. A powerful sword with a variety of attacks can make Yi Yuan's strength soar again. Su Yishan instinctively felt not very good, but at this time the arrow had to be sent on the string. Since it is unclear which one is Yi Yuan's deity, it will be swept away with the palm of your hand. With the powerful strength of his 4 spirits, he directly crushed Yi Yuan. Even if Yi Yuan condenses 9 drops of spirit liquid, the gap with him is still very large. Without taking advantage of this advantage, he really has no chance of winning today. Turning the palm of the hand itself is very powerful, and among the second-order martial arts of the Su family, it is also the top existence. After breaking through the spiritual environment, Su Yishan has the confidence to crush the 5 heavy warriors with the palm of the hand. Su Yishan is indeed a genius, and his experience is quite rich. It is not the kind of flower that grows up in the greenhouse. It is a pity that he met Yi Yuan. Just as he was about to send out the sky, suddenly his head was in a state of sorrow. However, Su Yishan soon woke up. It's just a master's trick, and the hesitation in this moment is deadly enough. 9 Daozhanmeng whistling out, and they came to Su Yishan in front of them. Su Yishan was just waking up at this time, and it was too late to stop the work. Hey! 9 swords and mons were hit ******* Su Yishan's body, and instantly broke his body and destroyed his internal organs. What happened? This is the last thought in Su Yishan's mind, but he will never know. The south wind swallowed a sip of water and felt a bit dry. What happened in the end? She also wants to know. At the last moment, Su Yishan obviously hesitated. It was this time that he had his life. But at this juncture, how can he hesitate? What is the difference between this and suicide? Nanfeng knows that it must be a ghost of Yi Yuan, but she does not know what means she used. Then again, after Su Yishan broke through the realm, she was actually no different from her. Yi Yuan can kill Su Yishan, and naturally has the ability to kill her. Nanfeng can't help but recall that 2 months ago, she almost killed Yi Yuan. It took only 2 months to catch up, even surpassing myself. Wang Shi is a genius from the south wind, but in front of Yi Yuan, nothing is. Nanfeng Shiji, oh, huh, what? Yi Yuan called the 2 sides, and the south wind responded. Time is not early, we should go. It has been 5 or 6 days since I entered the infinite forest. Yi Yuan has 2 herbs that I have not taken. Since this is already happening, naturally I don't want to continue to delay. If it is not necessary to break through the spiritual environment, Yi Yuan has already let Yu Fei kill Su Yishan, and will not do so many things. Nanfeng's sorrowfulness followed Yi Yuan's body, completely unlike her usual. Along the way, both of them were very silent, and no one spoke. After 2 hours, Nanfeng Jiru finally could not help but open. Yi Yuan, don't you have anything to ask? When you want to say, you will naturally say. Don't want to say, I asked him as also a white question. Yi Yuan did not look back, just faintly returned. Nanfeng Jiru looked at Yi Yuan's back with some resentment, and grinned and dissatisfied. Hey, the guy who doesn't understand the style. The princess said that it's not okay. My father is Nanfeng Yi, my name is Nanfeng Jiru. My aunt is called Nanfeng Ruaoking, my father is Qin Guoyan, is it okay? I know this early, I know you know, but you should always give me an attitude. I know you know, what do you want me to give you? Nanfeng was tempted by Yi Yuan's attitude. He stood on his knees and yelled at Yi Yuan's back. It's not for me and my aunt to hide my identity, but we also have difficulties. With me and my aunt, I am inconvenienced when I enter the college, I will hide my family name. I originally intended to tell you after I went back, but I have not always had no chance. Yi Yuan also stopped to turn around and looked at the south wind. He suddenly smiled and said, the Nanfeng teacher thinks more. If I really have any attitude, I will leave you alone, instead of standing here and talking to you. No attitude is the best attitude. The south wind licks the bite in the airway. Then you don't say it early, I thought you were really angry. You didn't ask me either. Yi Yuan was very innocent. Nanfeng thinks about it too. It seems that he is suspicious from beginning to end, and he has never asked this guy. Perhaps it is not a matter of concealing identity in this guy's mind. Well, I am passionate. Then you tell me, why did he slow down half a shot when you killed Su Yishan? Nanfeng is a big scorpion, knowing that Yi Yuan is not angry, this matter is directly filtered by her. Nanfeng has become the little princess. That is the secret of the gods, stunning god, which can make people feel short-lived. Yi Yuan did not mean to hide, said directly. Soul and secret skills, you even have the secret of the soul. South wind stunned. This is just the most fascinating secret of the gods. What's the fuss? It's not Yi Yuan's arrogance. This stunning sword is really the most savvy of his soul and soul. Chapter 157 Wicked Beast 5. Screaming is just a simple attack of the other soul with the soul, not much deep. If Su Yishan prepared in advance, Yi Yuan could not succeed. After all, Yi Yuan is only the middle-level soul of Dan Shi, and Su Yishan is half-pounded. His hitting was unexpected. Of course, the secret of the soul is not a thing for Yi Yuan, but in the mortal country of Qin, it is absolutely rare. Even the most superficial secrets. When the warriors of the Qin state fight against each other, they will never think of the other side's secret skills, because this is too little. Therefore, the warriors who possess the secrets of the gods and souls are often able to attack. There are only too few people to meet, and there is no need to guard against it. It's not always necessary to guard against each other's secrets and secrets in every battle. If you are distracted, it's a big taboo. Yeah, I should have thought of it. In addition to the secret of the soul, how can Su Yishan make such a low-level mistake? Nanfang whispered. Yi Yuan turned and wanted to go. The south wind returned to the gods and quickly chased him up and grabbed Yi Yuan down. Yi Yuan, how can I teach this secret technology to me? Yi Yuan is shaking his head. Not good. Seeing Nanfang's face immediately, Yi Yuan quickly said, the urgent task for you now is to cultivate the anti-water law, and waste time on other things. You can only delay your practice. Waiting for your reverse water law to be refined, I teach you more. Nanfang Ji-Ru turned to be angry and said, this is what you said. If you don't teach me when you are, I will. The south wind Ji-Ru, I will, for a long time, cannot think of a better threat. Yi Yuan's strength is no longer in her. She can still threaten Yi Yuan. Do not worry, I have a lot of secrets, as long as you can cultivate to a sufficient level, how much I have. Go, Yi Yuan said very generously. The past Yi Yuan was almost equal to giving up the martial arts. He was quite researched about the soul and soul, so he also cultivated many secrets of the soul. Of course, the purpose of his cultivation of the soul is to make alchemy. These secret spirits help Yi Yuan to better understand the soul of the soul, and he naturally enjoys it. One day later, Yi Yuan took the south wind and the dragonfly to the gray pine forest and picked up the pine fruit. Naturally, there is also a powerful monster guard, but it is only a second-order monster. Yi Yuan released the cockroach fly, and the second-order enchanted beast trembled directly, showing no hostility from beginning to end. The world level of the wicked beast is more strict. When a second-order monster is facing the third-order monster, only 2 words are surrendered. Effortlessly took the pine fruit, Yi Yuan and his team rushed to the black water, which is the habitat of the colorful clouds. The Black Otter is on the east side of Chifengling, about 1,000 miles away. It is 600 miles from the border of the infinite forest. It is also a very dangerous place. However, for Yi Yuan, it is not too dangerous. There is a third-order monster beast around, and there is a lot of infinite forest within 1,000 miles. However, Yi Yuanping will not take Qi Fei to his side, but let him stay in the space. In the infinite forest, there are not only many participants who participate in the trial, but also more monster hunters. In case of being hit by people, only killing people will be destroyed. Yi Yuan does not want to kill innocents, so it is still a low-key. Moreover, Yi Yuan entered the infinite forest, and he also honed his own meaning. If everything goes to the front, he loses the meaning of tempering. One day later, Yi Yuan and Feng Yan finally came to the black water. The stream here is beautiful and the forest is beautiful. It is a good place to go. The 600 miles area is a dividing ridge, where the first-order monsters and the second-order monsters are mixed. Going further north, most of them are the sites of the second-order monsters. When going south, they are mostly the sites of the first-order monsters. Of course, this is not absolute. However, the soldier of Yi Yuan's good luck was not very lucky, and he encountered a colorful stream of clouds here, which is also a big hit. According to the description of the warrior, Yi Yuan judged that this colorful stream cloud may be the second-order midterm. This strength does not necessarily need to fly out, he may be able to get it himself. However, Yi Yuan does not dare to care about it. The colorful clouds are not only poisonous but also very strong. If you accidentally get caught by it, you can't eat it. According to the records, this black otter was originally the territory of a first-class senior monster, but I don't know when it was occupied by colorful clouds. I guess there must be something like the colorful clouds, otherwise it is not will be greedy for this place, we may still get good things. Yi Yuan said to the south wind. Nanfeng's insight into Yi Yuan's encyclopedia has long been used, just asking, what should we do now? Let's take it out and kill it. Yi Yuan shook his head and said, no hurry, let's sneak in and see the situation. The two men served under the confinement of Dan, and quietly sneaked into the black water. Passing through the layers of jungle, the two finally approached the pool. However, at this moment, on a piece of open space next to the drowning water, there was a fierce killing. Yi Yuan opened the leaves and looked at it quietly. He even saw two monsters being violently killed. One of them is a black python, which is almost 2 feet long. Look carefully, I saw that there is a 7-color marking on the 7-inch place, it is the colorful clouds. The other monster is a strong white tiger, also a second-order monster. It's just that the strength of the white tiger is slightly inferior to that of the colorful clouds, just the second stage. The battle between the two sides is very fierce, but the colorful stream cloud is obviously the upper hand, and the white tiger is already scarred. The red blood of Yin Hong dyed a white fur and looked very miserable. However, the white tiger seems to be rushing up, but it is one step that is not willing to retreat. Instead, he roars and takes the initiative to attack the colorful clouds. That way, obviously it is intended to be the same. Yi Yuan, the white tiger can't beat others, why don't you run? Nanfeng said, it is also very strange. Yi Yuan shook his head slightly, and also said, I don't know, maybe it has a reason to not back. There are also reasons for the monsters. I think it is stupid. I have to fight with the python to kill you. They will not be robbing the ground. If such a serious injury, even if you win, I am afraid I will not survive. Everything has spirits, and the beasts also have feelings. You can see them as well. The feelings of the low-level monsters are not so complicated, but they know that they are not good enough to die, but I am afraid that they really have their own reasons. During the speech, Yi Yuan opened the leaves more and the vision of the two became more open. At the entrance, a small white tiger with a kitten's size shivered there. The south wind can't help but look at Yi Yuan. Chapter 158 Royal Swordsmanship. The little white tiger licked his mouth and his hair was standing up. The cat was still low-pitched from time to time, and it looked very cute. However, in such a tragic situation, the roar of Xiaobaihu seems so weak and pathetic. Yi Yuan's heart trembled without a reason, as if he saw his original self. Yi Yuan, let's save the white tiger. You look at the little white tiger, it's really pitiful. At this time, the words of the south wind rang in Yi Yuan's ear. Yi Yuan turned his head and looked at it, but he saw that the south wind was already bursting into tears. Apparently, she was deeply touched by the sorrow of the white tiger. In this situation, it is clear that it is best to wait for the white tiger and the colorful clouds to fight together, but Yi Yuan can't do it. Yi Yuan did not say much, just slowly nodded, took out the Kangwa sword and said to the south wind, the weakness of the colorful clouds is the 7-color flower. It is a good place to attack. I will take it down. Come here, you can see the opportunity to kill it. Nanfeng Jiru desperately nodded, and now she is deeply resentful about the python. At this time, the black and white tigers fought fiercely, and the white tiger was frustrated again and again, but it was one step and would not retreat. The white tiger is already the end of the strong, but with a strong obsession, it does not fall. The black cockroach was in a neutral position and slammed out and slammed the white tiger. The action of the white tiger has not been able to keep up with the black scorpion. This bite is bitten, and the white tiger will die. At this moment, a white man lightning strikes the black scorpion door. This time was too abrupt, the black scorpion did not react at all, and Bai Mang directly hit its eyes. Laugh. The black eyes suddenly become flesh and blood. With a scream of screaming, the black sorrow tumbling on the ground. The huge body kept twisting and the tail swept wildly, which was very aggressive. Even Yi Yuan, at this time did not dare to rush, but looked at the dying White Tiger. White Tiger's gaze also looked at Yi Yuan, full of gratitude. The little White Tiger saw the Black Scorpion injured, and also bravely came to the mother, using his small tongue to lick the mother's wound. From time to time, it is also a sorrowful voice. It is obviously very sad. However, this scene did not last long, and the Black Scorpion finally slowed down from the pain. An unpleasant snoring indicates that it is in a state of anger at this time. The Black Scorpion stared at Yi Yuan with the rest of his eyes, and Yi Yuan looked at it with a smile, and slammed it with a hook, and it looked very contemptuous. The colorful clouds were even more furious, and they disappeared when they slammed. Yi Yuan was prepared early, and naturally he would not be attacked successfully by it. The same one, the far away disappeared in the same place, the Black Scorpion flew empty. Big stupid snake, I am here. Yi Yuan slammed his hook in another place. The colorful stream cloud seems to understand Yi Yuan's words and desperately rushes to Yi Yuan again. Yi Yuan's body is not much slower than the colorful clouds, and he avoids it again. After repeating this twice, as long as Yi Yuan is dodging again, the colorful clouds will enter the ambush of the south wind. The south wind is also a sharpening knife, staring at the 7-color flower at the 7 inches of the Black Scorpion. Yi Yuan was a flash and entered the ambush circle. Just as he once again provoked the Black Scorpion, when the south wind is about to be shot, the Black Scorpion hesitated. Damn, this black cockroach is so oyster, I have doubts about my actions. Yi Yuan's heart was awkward. The Kangwa sword shook, and a swordmang was issued again. It's just that the Black Scorpion that is prepared is not so easy to recruit, and the body shape slips away. After the black donkey was dodging, there was still no coming to this side. Yi Yuan's heart rushed for a bad hunch, and sure enough, the Black Scorpion suddenly turned around and ran towards the White Tiger. Damn! Yi Yuan snorted and the sword chased him up. The south wind ambushed for a long time, and the black cockroach actually ran away, and could not help but be very depressed. However, at this time, she did not make much sense to ambush again, and a step was also chased. This Black Scorpion is abnormal. At this time, although the back is left to Yi Yuan, it is swaying and unable to aim. Yi Yuan has sent several swords and has been hiding. In the blink of an eye, the Black Scorpion is only a dozen feet away from the White Tiger. This distance is just a matter of fingering. At this time, the White Tiger is already dying. The squad has just passed, and at this time, I can no longer afford strength. It was not an opponent of Black Scorpion, but it was bitten by Black Scorpion several times. At this time, not only the scars are scarred, but also the poisoning is deep. Where is the strength to resist? Seeing the Black Scorpion rushing over, the White Tiger's eyes showed a desperate look. Its eyes looked at the little White Tiger beside him, and his eyes were full of unwillingness and helplessness. At this time, Xiaobaihu is not as afraid as it used to be. Instead, he is screaming at the Black Scorpion and licking his teeth. He is also a slap in the face. The momentum is very good, but it is too weak. The south wind saw a big rush, and the swordsmanship came out. It's just that her swordsmanship is much worse than Yi Yuan's, and even if there are occasional drops on the Black Scorpion, it's not painful. Yi Yuan knows that it is too late, and suddenly bite his teeth. Only use this trick. Little White Tiger, if I miss, you cannot blame me. During the meditation, Yi Yuan gently throws the Kangwa sword into the air, then hands and points it into a sword, pointing to the Kangwa sword. A soul force wrapped in Yuan Li from the fingertips to escape, straight into the Kangwa sword. In this way, the Kangwa sword actually hung in the air. Yu Jianshu, give me away. Yi Yuan has one hand and one finger, and the Kangwa sword has become a streamer with a slap in the face. The Black Scorpion seems to have a sense of heart, and the speed of the rush to the little White Tiger is slowed down, but the swaying of the body becomes more and more fierce and more elusive. The speed of the Kangwa sword is even faster than that of the sword that was sent from the previous leaves. However, even so, the sword is lost. The Black Scorpion once again made an unpleasant snoring, as if to express the declaration of the winner to Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan's face was black, but his fingertips were pulled back again. The Kangwa sword quickly crossed an arc in the air and turned into a streamer and shot at the Black This time, because the Kangwa's sword is too close to the black scorpion, the black scorpion did not expect the sword to go back and return. No time under the defense, was pierced by Yi Yuan. Hey, the asterisk once again swelled on the ground, but did not die immediately. This sword is not stabbing. Sister, go up and fill the knife. Yi Yuan gritted his teeth. Dang dang. Kangwa's sword fell to the ground. Yi Yuan also sat on the ground. The whole person collapsed. Nanfeng ji ru 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 ji ru. However, the south wind was not close, and it was swept away by the black tail, almost in the middle. The south wind was in a hurry, and I didn't expect that the black cockroach's vitality was so tenacious. Just then, a white light flashed. Chapter 159 Born King. Yi Yuan and Nan Fengyi both opened their eyes and looked at this scene incredulously. The little white tiger slammed into the 7 inches of the black scorpion and bit it down at the 7-color flower. Oh, hey, Blackbird himself did not expect that this little white tiger would rob the fire, and other places do not bite, but bite on its 7 inches. This is a killer. The black scorpion kept swinging his body and wanted to get rid of the little white tiger. However, the little white tiger's teeth bite the 7-color flower, letting the black sway shake. It is not loose. Originally, the black cockroach was bitten by 7 inches, and the strength of the 10% was already out at 10%. In addition, the injury that it had previously fought with the white tiger and the wounds caused by Yi Yuan did not move for a while, but only from time to time. I also twitched twice. A second-order mid-term monster, even like this, was killed by a little white tiger. Although the black scorpion has not moved, the little white tiger has been reluctant to let go, and he will not let go. Yi Yuan picked up the Kangwa sword and walked to the side of the black scorpion. He patted the little white tiger's small head. The little white tiger seemed to understand and released his mouth. Yi Yuan is also afraid that the little white tiger will not bite enough, and he will make up a knife on the 7-color flower, which will completely result in the life of colorful clouds. After Xiaobaihu's mouth was loose, he no longer went to the black scorpion, but returned to his mother and smothered the wound with a small tongue. Yi Yuan and Nan Fengku face each other, do not know what to say. The two of them had spent so much effort, but in the end it was a fatal blow from the little guy. But the speed that the little guys showed up just now makes the two look at each other. The little guy has grown up and is definitely a terrible character. Nanfeng glanced at the white tiger lying on the ground and looked at Yi Yuan again. Yi Yuan understood what she meant, but she shook her head and said, she was too hurt, and she was poisoned by the colorful clouds. I can't do anything about it. Nanfeng is not willing to say, don't you bring a lot of remedies? Should there be detoxification and healing medicine? Yi Yuan sighed and said, it's useless. The body of the monster is different from that of human beings. It must use the corresponding medicinal herbs. The medicinal herbs I bring are useless to her. The medicinal herbs used by the monsters are self-contained and cannot be used in common with the medicinal drugs used by humans. Only Yi Yuan, the Dan Dao, can achieve such brilliant achievements on both systems at the same time. However, it is difficult for a clever woman to have no rice. Now there is no alchemy room, no medicinal materials, and Yi Yuan is even more powerful. It is impossible to change the medicinal herbs from the air. Yi Yuan said that it is equivalent to the death of the white tiger. The south wind was so unbearable, and the white tiger, who was whimpering, couldn't help but cry again. Yi Yuan is also quite intolerable. He is not a sympathetic person, but the scene just like it is too similar to his previous life. Although the white tiger is only a monster, he still feels the same. The white tiger's eyes were already closed, but at this time it was gradually opened, and the spirit seemed to have recovered. Xiaobaihu saw her mother open her eyes and jumped up in front of her with joy. The white tiger's gaze is full of love, not like a fierce monster. Only Yi Yuan and Nan Fengyu know that this is the return of the white tiger back to the light, fear that it is no longer possible. White tiger looked at Xiaobaihu with a sigh of relief, but his eyes turned to Yi Yuan, revealing the meaning of pleading. Then, she used all her strength and pushed her little white tiger to the foot of Yi Yuan with her head. This white tiger is actually in the orphan. To be honest, Yi Yuan does not want to be a nanny. He still has a lot of things to do, no time to waste time on this. Although he is very sympathetic to the mother and child, but let him raise this little white tiger, he feels a little trouble. The white tiger apparently saw Yi Yuan's hesitation, and he could not help but whisper, like the last wailing, and the meaning of pleading was already obvious. When the south wind saw Yi Yuan hesitating, he could not help but anger. Yi Yuan, do you still have compassion? Xiaobaihu is so poor, so small, there is no mother, let him be here, he will be killed by other monsters. You don't take him in, I take it in. Come, Xiaobaihu. Xiaobaihu did not get close to the south wind, but jumped back and apparently did not want to leave the mother. The white tiger was screaming again and his eyes became severe. The little white tiger is like a child who has made a mistake. When he heads down, he walks to the foot of Yi Yuan. When the south wind sees this, the gas does not hit one place. Hey, isn't your little guy a bad brain? He doesn't want you, what are you doing with him? Come to me. Said, the south wind Jiru 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 nan 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 nan. This time, the south wind is even more flamboyant. She was a hot temper, but her heart was treated as a liver and lung, and her temper was good. Run again. Run the letter and don't believe me to lick your ears. The south wind squinted and angered. It was a cat-like roar that replied to her. This man, a tiger, actually played hide and seek around Yi Yuan. Yi Yuan was made to laugh and laugh by the south wind, and it turned out that this woman's temper is not a demon. Okay, you don't turn, and then I will faint. I can't accept the little white tiger. Yi Yuan was impatient. Yi Yuan dialed the south wind and lowered his body to the white tiger. You can rest assured that since I promised you, I will treat him well. He will follow me. The future strength will definitely be above you. You can walk with peace of mind. It's not Yi Yuan's heart, but this white tiger has long since disappeared. The reason why I did not die was because Yi Yuan did not agree. Obviously the language is unreasonable, but the white tiger seems to understand that Yi Yuan said, and issued a low-pitched voice, as if he would thank Xie Yuan, and then gradually disappeared. Xiaobaihu apparently realized what he was, and mourned to come to his mother, trying to arch his mother with a small head, but the white tiger did not react at all. When the south wind saw it, the tears came out again. The tiger's power just disappeared. Really a sensual woman. Yi Yuan sighed and sat down directly, swallowing a medicinal drug to adjust his interest. Yu Jianshu is also a secret skill, powerful. It's just a bit reluctant to Yi Yuan, who is now able to make a back and forth, and has already overdrawn his power and soul. After adjusting for a while, Yi Yuan found that Xiaobaihu was spinning around himself. Seeing Yi Yuan looking over, Xiaobaihu shook his tail and broke into the arms of Yi Yuan. I am wondering, you don't want him, how is this little white tiger so sticky? Nanfeng is very dissatisfied. Yi Yuan smiled and said, this is the charm. I am a natural person who has a kingly style and can attract countless people to follow. Hey, this little white tiger is not right. Yi Yuanzheng boasted, but his face changed. Chapter 160 God Beasts. What's wrong? What's the problem with Xiaobaihu? Nanfeng sighed in his heart and asked quickly. Yi Yuan did not answer her, but turned Xiaobaihu over and watched it several times. He searched it again with his knowledge, and his face became more and more dignified. Nanfeng Jiru is an acute child. Seeing Yi Yuan for a long time is not to say, his face is getting worse and worse, and he can't help but rush. What the asterisk is going on? You are saying it. It's really anxious to die. He won't die. Yi Yuan, this is a fool watching the south wind. What is dead? He can't be better. Nanfeng Jiru finally sighed, and immediately annoyed. He's okay, why are you posing a dead face? Deliberately scare me, can you guys finish the conversation at one time? What happened to him? We are a treasure, this little thing is a big deal. Yi Yuan put away a serious expression, quite excited. There is a big head. A little tiger. What can you do? How can one be forced to such a cockroach to reach this point? Nanfang wondered. She looked left and right and couldn't see what was surprising about this little white tiger. Yi Yuan sighed and said, "How many times have you told me that knowledge is power? How come you have grown up now? Without knowledge, you will enter Baoshan and you will return empty-handed." Nanfang squinted at two eyes. "Do you say nothing? How much nonsense. Forget it, tell you to let you know for a long time. That white tiger is just a normal white tiger, but this little white tiger is very different. Have you heard of the 4 elephants? Of course I have heard that the dragon of the east, the west is only white." Nanfang said half of it, suddenly remembered something, surprised. You are not telling me, this little white tiger is it a white animal?" Nanfang was shocked by Yi Yuan, and his speech was stuttering. "What is the concept of the beast? That is the absolute master of this world. With the name of the beast, if you don't die in the future, you must step into the existence of the gods." Yi Yuan casually picked up a small white tiger, the master of the West, the white tiger beast. "Who is it to play with?" Yi Yuan was laughing and said, "Of course he is not a beast. But, he does have the blood of the white tiger beast. But his blood is too thin, want to be a beast, too hard and too difficult. Some words are far from being too good to say. In the domain of the gods, there are many monsters with the blood of the beasts, but the blood of the true purebred beasts is now lost. Because there is no existence of a **** in this world, and there is no existence of a beast. With a thin blood of the beast, the future achievements must be extraordinary. As long as the strength of the blood is sufficient, it is almost inevitable to step into the realm of the demon. The realm of the demon emperor is equivalent to the kingdom of the human god. Moreover, most of the descendants of the beasts have a natural power, and once they enter the realm of the demon, the strength will be very strong. In the top-level power of the gods, humans and demons are in fact comparable. But, if he really has the blood of the beast, even if he can't become a beast, will it be very powerful in the future? Yes, this little thing has a name of its own, Streamer White Tiger. One of the descendants of the white tiger **** beast. I really did not expect that an ordinary white tiger can actually give birth to a streamer white tiger. It seems that the little ancestors came from the origins. Not shallow. Yi Yuan sighed. Is it a white tiger? It's no wonder that when he was going to die this big black, the speed was so fast, it was like a stream of light. Well, the streamer white tiger is known for being fast, the adult streamer white tiger, at least the strength of the 5th order shape. At that time his speed is comparable to the flying mystery. Yi Yuan explained. So powerful, then we are not smashing treasure. The south wind was surprised. Above the spirit is a mystery, and the speed of the flying mystery is even more incredible. The speed of the white tiger can be comparable to the flying mystery, showing their speed. Yi Yuanahe smiled and said, "You want more. The streamer white tiger from the young tiger to the adult, at least for 1,000 years. When he grows up, I am already the realm of the king." The south wind snorted and dismissed. "Blow you. Also the realm of the gods. I have never heard of the realm of the gods, the Netu Yu. It's not that the south wind is ignorant, but the place in Qin is too small. The starting point determines the horizon, the people without borders. How do you know the realm of the domain of the gods? If they can ascend to a certain level, the horizon will naturally be broad." For the contempt of the south wind, Yi Yuan is just laughing and not explaining. He and Nanfang are not at all a grade, and naturally cannot communicate. But there is me, his realm may catch up in 10 years or even fly beyond. Yi Yuan laughed. "So fast, you are not going to talk big words again. When did you meet me and said a big story? The little guy's foundation is much better than the cockroach. As long as he is supplemented with medicinal herbs, his achievements will not be low in the future. And this little guy has just awakened the blood, and the future cultivation speed will be very fast." Yi Yuan explained. At this point, the south wind is not doubtful that Yi Yuan is far away. Yi Yuan's rumors on Dan Dao have completely exceeded her cognition and often come up with some medicinal herbs that she has never heard of. Moreover, he dared to promise that he would break through the 4th order, and he would not come to the river. So he helped a little white tiger. Isn't it a very easy thing? Okay, I know you are amazing. Little white tiger is so cute, let's give him a name. You see him white, or do you call him Xiaobai? Nanfeng Jiru directly set it down. Roar. The little white tiger cat screamed in the same low voice to protest, apparently disliked the name. The south wind is annoyed by the fire. Hey. I don't like it either. It's called Xiaobai. Hey. He ran like a white light. I see, it's called white light. How? Yi Yuan was asking Xiaobai who. The little white tiger arched into the arms of Yi Yuan, apparently by default. Haha. I will call you white after that. Yi Yuan laughed. Hey. You were a white-eyed tiger. Who was trying to win you just now? This guy is ready to not want you, he is not a good person. Nanfeng did not have a good air. Hey, responding to her is a roar of white light. Okay. Don't delay this time, this black water GN we are still looking for it, maybe there are good things. This colorful stream cloud is not here, it must be found. Yi Yuan interrupted said the provocation of the south wind, said. The two men found a place where the white tiger was buried, and took the inner stream of the colorful clouds, walking with the white light to the depths of the black water.